sci-fi series. We'll find out why it's slower on the 14 in just a moment. You went out of your house. You decided you're going to sell your house. Goodbye, it's time. And you haven't, and that makes sense, because literally you turned around and every other week the value of your house went up. That's gone. Now prices are stabilizing, even going down. So you're probably going to get more money now than you will next year. So let me suggest going to directbuyers.com. You're not listing your house. Why? Because when you list your house, you pay 6%. You have to clean, you have to paint, you have to repair. The place has to be spotless. And prospective buyers walk through the house. Not with directbuyers.com. No one walks through your house. You're going to get a fair price. You're going to live exactly the way you're living now. You're going to be paying cash within 10 days or less. You're going to get a $15,000 cash advance before closing. And I'll tell you what never happens. You get lowballed. They don't lowball anybody. Go to directbuyers.com. Call 844-242-SELL. directbuyers.com. SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a rainy day ahead with highs just in the upper 50s to lower 60s. This report is brought to you by Whole Foods Market. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places like the 14. It is very slow this morning on the southbound side of the 14. Getting away from Oswald, Dolphin, pretty much all the way down through the Canyon Country area into the merge with the 5 and leave all past there. The 5 itself stays slow pretty much all the way down into Sun Valley. Now, some other things going on. Allegiance Park is going to crash on 10 freeway northbound before Hill Street. It's slow from the 10 freeway there. And in the City of Ada Street crash now on the 605 northbound past the 60. It involves the big rig all on the right lane. AFI in the sky. I'll get you there faster. I will full driver. Add a splash of green to the table at Whole Foods Market. Organic asparagus is just $3.59 per pound with time through April 4th. Grow them in spears or chop them up in a salad. While supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. In 2010, Blindster sold millions of custom blind shades and shutters to satisfied customers across the country. With 20,000 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Custom blinds at low prices and free shipping. Blindster.com. In this week's marketing report, Chris Graham, Chief Marketing Officer at Colton Mexican Grill, weighs in on the power of audio. Specifically, audio influence. Audio is a key component for us. Our consumer is omnichannel, so we need to be omnichannel. We use audio to reinforce what we're showing on TV, what we're showing other digital channels. When your priority is driving reach, or everybody seems to listen to the radio. I think using audio influencers has been a huge component for us. We're working with iHeart, we work with Foley fans. And because it's authentic and because they're seen as trusted friends by the customers and the listeners, it's really been an effective strategy. As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia is marketing access to all. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more. If you're hurt in a car accident, call the attorneys at Sweet Day. If you're hurt in a trucking accident, call the attorneys at Sweet Day. If you're hurt in a motorcycle accident, call the attorneys at Sweet Day. Sweet Day settles more for injured victims in 1 year than most firms settle in their lifetime. Sometimes you can't control what happens in life, but Sweet Day can help you control how you respond and shift the power away from the greedy insurance companies and back into your hands. If you're hurt in an accident, nothing can prepare you for what may come next. You may not be ready, but they are. The attorneys at Sweet Days are going to help connect you to top medical care, the most amount of money possible, and deliver the justice you deserve in your time of need. Pay nothing until they win. So if you're hurt in an accident, call Sweet Days. 800-500-5200, 800-500-5200, or sweetdays.com. 800-500-5200. Pray.com's Meditative Prayers podcast is the best way to bring God's perfect peace into your life. This meditative prayer helps you focus on God, fight anxiety, sleep better, and more. Close your eyes. Ask God to come and have fellowship with you. Open yourself to the Holy Spirit. And ask Him to minister to you. Listen to Meditation on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. What do you want us to do? It couldn't figure out why the gas prices are higher in California, right? California than other states. Want the gas prices to go higher. Secretly, this is fine with us. Gone and dead. We'll never say that publicly, but that's the truth. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. KFI 640 everywhere on the iHeartRadio. Bill Handel here. Rainy Wednesday, March 29th. Rain is back through tomorrow. News broke. The FDA approved the first over-the-counter opioid overdose clinic to be here. If I keep news alerts, so when a news alert comes in, I also use it for some research. I want to figure out a date that I don't know or confirm a date that I'm throwing a theory. What year did Monroe College, and we have a EPA at the minimum, I think it's like 1.3. And you're able to show all the qualifications. That's how you get into school. Hang on a second. I'm a community college graduate, thank you. And you can, I'll tell you, you need one hell of a basket. I have 2 those. I have an AA degree and and I worked for you for how long? Yeah, but let me tell you, you, my dear, are, what is your community college degree worth in terms of what you do? What training did you get in community college to give you the skill level to come in here? A lot. Really? A lot. That's it? I do. I'm a community college grad with an AA. I took a lot of radio and television classes. In community college, they do offer at Cal State Fullerton. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please disregard all of that, because that doesn't help me in the fight. Okay? All right, so it's safer to do that. Yeah, I understand. And let me tell you, I have a degree, a bad degree, political science. Boy, that helps a lot, doesn't it? And what skill level that I obtained with a political science degree at one of the most famous universities in the world, actually, Cal State Northridge, where everybody here went to Cal State Northridge. Everybody, you went to Chico, I know. That doesn't even count. But you have a lot of Cal State Northridge. We have some of Cal State Northridge students here. And Chico State. Yeah. How many people went to Stanford? Let me figure it out. How many? None. How many people went to UCLA here? How about none? I heard one down. Yeah, I'm sure you did. I think I was down. Yeah, I know. Well, the point is first of all, you don't need a skill level. I don't think so. Second of all, it's not easy to get in. Now, the transfer students it's easier to get in, but the premise now is that everybody who graduates with an AA degree and fulfills GPA and certain other requirements, taking certain classes, gets into it used to be the Cal State system was automatic. Now it's the UC system on top of that, with the same requirements, and that never happened before. They just say we can't guarantee which campus. We'll guarantee, for example, you're not going to get into UCLA, you're not going to get into Berkeley, but you are going to get into Davis, you are going to get into Riverside, which is, Riverside doesn't have a phenomenal reputation. Don't they have a UC Channel Islands now, which is the newest UC system, but it's still University of California. There's they're making it as easy as possible. And, in the end, how do I feel about that? Depends on how you view college education. Most of the world, for people to go into college, is pretty elite. It's like the top 5 or 10% of students who have grades and tests in, and it's elite. There's no question. Usually schools are free. The education is free. Here in America, the philosophy is everybody who wants to get a college degree, they can. And that's a very different philosophy. And the way it works the best, I don't know. Which way is fair? Well, testing, you take courses to test in. I always bring up is my mother, who was a dentist in Brazil. My grandmother was, my grandfather comes from a long line of dentists. And to get into dental school, and that was the University of São Paulo, which is certainly one of the best dental schools in South America, world-class schools. There were 100 places, and you studied a year and a half in a private course, which poor people couldn't afford. And so out of the 100 seats, 50 were Jews and 50 were Japanese Brazilians. There was not one native Brazilian, not one. You should see the picture of the right and the left. Hilarious. All the Japanese on the left, Japanese Brazilians. By the way, São Paulo has the largest population of Japanese outside of China in a single city. You bet.
Why is that, you know?
Because immigration that was there certainly after World War II, and during World War II, they didn't take away any of the property like we did here. And they were in the agricultural business, and they controlled the agricultural business in Brazil. It was extraordinary. It was the immigrants that did it very, very well, and then other immigrants would come, and it's just one of the centers that happened to be. But anyway, the point is that school there was only for the elite. And I'm not talking about the elite in the general sense, but how much students the elite students. And here's the whole different philosophy. And which way do you go? Hey, everybody gets a college degree. Just look at us. How many of us deserve a college degree? Let me go through that list, okay? And that's going to not take very long, to say the least. All right, we're going to come back and I'm going to talk about the mansion tax that kicks in a couple of days. Let's go to Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
A new federal fund will give cities in SoCal millions of dollars to deal with traffic pollution. Officials say diesel big rigs on the 710 cause 20% of all traffic pollution. Natural Resources Defense Council attorney David Pettit says California is out of compliance with air quality regulations.
And we are way over the limit for smog. Basically, it's actually for ozone, but ozone is a constituent of smog. We're way over the limit.
The funding is scheduled to be released to cities this spring with $30 million for Long Beach and $2 million to Pasadena, where previous freeway projects were abandoned. News is brought to you by DirectBuyers.com. Patients, doctors, and staff in Irvine are getting a first look at design replicas of the first hospital in OC dedicated entirely to cancer. City of Hope President Annette Walker says the mock-ups are built to scale to find out what people like and what they don't, to make it as comfortable as possible for the patient. So it includes layout, color design, furniture selection, every single element that the patients are involved in. The specialty hospital will join the recently opened state-of-the-art cancer treatment center as part of a $1.5 billion cancer campus. The Justice Department has agreed to end more than a decade of federal supervision over the Seattle Police Department. The consent decree was entered into in 2012 because of allegations of excessive force. The proposal from the Justice Department recognizes the city's compliance over the past 5 years. The agreement needs to be approved by a federal judge. Ukraine's president has warned his country must win a drawn-out battle for a key city in the eastern part of Ukraine. President Zelensky says if Russia takes Bakhmut, President Putin could start building international support for a deal that could require Ukraine to make unacceptable compromises. It's not a Brontosaurus burger, but it's close. A company in Australia has unveiled a lab-grown meatball using genetic sequence from the longest pink woolly mammoth and genetic data from its closest living relative, the African elephant, to fill in any missing parts of the sequence. It's cultivated meat made from animal cells that doesn't require any animals to be killed to make it. With the right lab conditions, the cells multiply until there was an estimate of baseball-sized meatball. The mammoth meatball is a one-off. It has not been tasted, even though there's a meat product. Amy King, KFI News. And the city of the Bay Area has been ranked as the happiest in America. Wallet Hub says researchers looked at 30 happiness-related data metrics, which were grouped into 3 categories: emotional and physical well-being, income and employment, and community and environment. 182 cities were given scores on a 100-point scale. Fremont was found to be the happiest. LA came in at number 76. We've got your drive on the 210 in just a moment, but first it's Sports this lane. The Dodgers dropped the spring training freeway series finale against the Angels by a score of 13-5. Meanwhile, Forbes estimates that Angels two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani will earn 7-10. You can hear Dodgers games in HD on the iHeartRadio app live from the Calvin Motors broadcast booth. The Angels will begin with a road series against the A's. And in hockey, the LA Kings got finished by the Calgary Flames in a 2-1 loss. I'm Will Lesnick, KFI Sports.
Right, now borrowing money against your home, well, it used to be a whole lot easier because interest rates were so low. Now, for certain people, interest rates that if you combine them with your first mortgage and you want to pull out a second are still really low. And if you need $75,000 or more, talk to the folks at HMS Built over the years, last few years. HMS Capital, I've done 2 mortgages with them, so I'm a huge fan over the years. And these folks, well, at the best rate, still do. Service, of course, impeccable. Call HMS Capital. No appraisal or credit report fees. HMS Capital, 833-255-5698. 833-255-5698. Visit hmscapital.com. hmscapital.com. SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a rainy day ahead. Temperatures are just going to be in the upper 50s to the low 60s. Let's get a look at your drive with DKFI in the sky, and this time we're seeing what's going on the 210. We've got a big crash and closure on the 210 freeway eastbound between Berkshire and Arroyo Boulevard there in the Washington Cliff Ridge area. All the lanes shut down eastbound for now as they work to clear this crash and start to back up towards the 2 on that freeway. Just a reminder, if you're headed up to Northern California, the 101 is currently closed both directions north of Santa Barbara, north of Goleta there. You can make the turn away from the coast. That's because of flooding and mud debris in the roadway. No word as to when that's going to reopen. The Grapevine is open, although the weather's getting kind of nasty up that way. In Torrance, we've got a stall on the 405 northbound at Crenshaw Boulevard, causing delays back from the 605. In Mid-City LA, the freeway eastbound Robertson was down for a fraction of a left lane. It's slow from the full driver. When we hire new technicians at service staffing, we always ask, would I trust this person to show up on my mother's doorstep? Leland Smith here, founder of Service Staffing Plumbing, Heating, and AC. If a technician doesn't pass the mother's doorstep test, they'll never make it to your house. After something looks clean and professional, then they have to be kind and polite, and they have to treat people with respect. They have to pass a background check and a drug test. When they do show up, they'll be wearing a clean uniform and a company ID. They'll wear shoe covers in your home and clean up after they leave. You're going to love your service staffing technician, because I flat out guarantee you, if I would send them to my mother's doorstep, I would never send them to you. Our number is 833-777-7777, or find us online at servicestaffing.com. Are you feeling the stress of a car accident? Let the Cody and Meyer take the wheel and steer you towards the compensation you deserve. 93% of crash victims who use the lawyers said they'd do it again. And with Jacoby and Myers, you'll get the best of both worlds. Our legal expertise and a hassle-free experience. Don't just take our word for it. See for yourself what over 50 years of experience can do for you. Call Jacoby and Myers. Justice for you since 1972.
Spring's going to be here soon, so start saving money with solar from SolarMax Technology.
Get a 12-panel system for $0 down and $69.99 a month. Plus, you want to lock in your NEM 2.0 benefits by April 13th.
Now, pound 250 and say SolarMax, or go to SolarMaxTech.com.
Well, they're getting very well. This credit card goes into the 972 boy. Losing air conditioning on a hot summer day can be a 20-year-old nightmare, and no one wants that. Your air conditioner lasts longer and reduce breakdowns with a rejuvenation.
Just critical adjustments so you'll feel cool, use less energy, and increase the life of your system.
We'll clean the outdoor coils the right way, not the easy way.
Rejuvenation, just $429.
Rail air conditioning and plumbing. We are TCL.com. We'll keep it cool, but it's hard to sell. Right number 1047, 781. American Vision Windows. SoCal's choice for energy-efficient windows and doors. AmericanVisionWindows.com. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, AFI's on all of them. Follow us out at AFI AM 640. AFI AM 640. Bill Handle on a still rainy Wednesday, March 29th. We'll be back. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Some of the news that we're covering. LA County Deputy DA Jonathan Hatami announced his bid to unseat DA above $5 million after the first, it closes, gotta get 4% tax. Over $10 million, a 5.5% tax on top of everything else. Now, $5 million, 5.5%, it's not the end of the world. I'll sell a house over $10 million. I know this is for many, many listeners of this show that are currently selling homes over $10 million. And why is this tax kicking in? Well, of course, we passed it to fund homelessness measures, affordable housing construction. And so what's going on? I'm just pointing this out, not that it affects it, but this is Southern California, in this case, LA, because LA has an insanely wealthy, huge mansion home. And so a lot of people are trying to undo this, trying to figure out how do you undo this when you sell your house. You close before April 1st. So the scheming that's going on, for example, some people are just splitting up their property. Splitting it up. You got an outbuilding, I'm going to sell that for $3 million, and I'm going to sell the building for I'm going to sell the main house for $4 million. Just split up the property. Is that working? No, it is not. There's also a lawsuit on the grounds that it violates the California Constitution. It does not. So you know what people are doing to close this deal? Close money. Well, there is a house that is listed for $16.5 million. If you close before April 1, you not only get the house, you buy it for $15.5 million, but you get a choice of one of several Aston Martins or a McLaren or a Bentley. Now, if you don't, well, you pay the full price and you don't get the car. So, Bel Air, $28 million mansion owned by celebrity plastic surgeon Paul Massive. He was the star of What Spot. I've never seen that. Our Spot is those who plastic surgery, the procedures that he bought, or he undid the bot. No, he undid the bot. Okay, I've never watched it. Yeah, I watched the show in which he bought the plastic surgery, but he probably wouldn't have a house that came with it for $28 million. And he's offering a $1 million bonus to any agent that can bring in a buyer closing before April 1st. Well, that doesn't lose money? No, because you have to pay $1 million. Things are incredible. Here's another list. Reduced purchase price of $20,995,000. $21 million. This is an amazing opportunity for a buyer who can close escrow prior to April 1st. Once April 1st, the purchase price reverts back to $22 million. $2 million. That's what the listing is. Now I have a okay. You're listing it for $22 million. If you close before April 1st, I'm going to knock $1 million off. How about this one? I'm going to offer you $16 million for no sale. What do you think? This presupposes that there is no negotiation. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. But if you're looking at, I don't know if you pay attention, I do, because I look at real estate. They're doing anything they can. And in many cases, it makes no sense. Oh, and anybody who has money, you get the things for the homework. The other reason I brought this up, not that this is going to do a lot, because I don't know how many are closing now because of that, but the takeaway here is anything that can be used to generate money for the homeless problem is going to be used, and will be used money from state, local government, federal government, county government, and any tax they can come up with. And this is an easy one, because if you're selling over $5 million or $10 million, you're going to tax the hell out of you. And how many of us are going to demonstrate against this one? Stand in front of the legislature or city hall and going, no, no, no. If I'm ever in the market for a $22 million house, I would, I'd hire someone to demonstrate for me. Figure that out. Now, here's something that really does affect a whole lot of it. Prius drivers and the catalytic converter. And man, this is a mess. Talk about that coming right up. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones Lee live in the KFI 24-hour news.
A big live candlelight vigil is set forward tonight in Nashville after this week's school shooting that left 3 kids and 3 adults dead. The Vatican just Pope Francis has gone to the hospital in Rome for some planned medical tests. And a few of the finalists for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame have been revealed. ESPN says a swing wave forward Dirk Nowitzki, and forward Paul Gasol are all among the finalists. We'll get your job on the one team in just a moment.
Your traditional investments aren't going away right now. They hold their value and they're fun to own. On top of that, you ever wanted a Rolex and never thought you could afford it? Well, let me suggest Bob watches. Rolex, Omega, Cartier, Tudor, a lot more. They have them all. You can buy, sell, or trade. They have a huge inventory of luxury watches, free overnight shipping on all orders, and they have a great collection of vintage Rolex watches, which is basically the whole grail of pretty much does. Bob Watches, the trusted online store to buy or sell modern and vintage luxury pre-owned watches. All watches are 100% authentic and independently certified, and now $200 off. Just Google Bob Watches and Bill Hint. And click the link at the top to get your discount automatically applied. And if you're looking to sell your luxury watch, get a fast and easy quote online from the watch experts at Bob. So Google Bob Watches and Bill Handle and see what they have.
SoCal weather from KFI looks like we got a rainy day ahead, high for 50 in the upper 50s to the lower 60s. This report is brought to you by WineStar.com. Let's check out your drive on the 110.
You know, Legion Park, the 110 freeway southbound at Stadium Way, cracked in the right lanes there. Really tying things up from Avenue 52. We've had a lot of problems in the Legion Park on that 110 this morning. And that is flowing the water on the roadway. In the La Cunada area, 210 freeway, down between Berkshire and Royal Boulevard. All the lanes stopped for now as they work to clear a crack. That's definitely jammed from Foothill Boulevard. In Mid-City LA, we've got a crack on the 10 freeway eastbound at Robertson. It's the westbound side. It's super slow out of downtown LA. The eastbound side slow from the 405. KFI in the sky helps get you there back. There's my local driver.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blinds.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install a custom blind and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blinds.com. This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome at the end of your first year. They automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned doubles. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubles. Seriously though, you can just check it out for yourself at discover.com/Mac. And we welcome Ruben Robles, a health education program.
Starting gambling when a person is unable to control their gambling impulses, no matter how devastating the consequences are. They're lying about their gambling, financial problems, issues with family and friends, including domestic violence and job performance issues. People of all ages and cultures, men and women, people in their 20s and senior citizens.
There is help available for Cal Supplemental Services.
California has an interesting program called CalGet. It's a no-cost treatment program licensed professionals who understand gambling disorders. CalGet offers free private support during and after your treatment plan. Multi-language telephone counseling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Individual and group therapy. And we also offer outpatient and inpatient treatment. Part of my responsibilities include bilingual direct education and prevention training with your businesses or community organizations.
How would one find out more about the program?
Call 1-800-426-2537 or 1-800-GAMBLER. You can also go to our website, which is problemgambling.ca.gov. And remember, we help friends and family too. For every one problem gambler, we expect to have 10 effective individuals.
Ruben Robles, thank you, from the Office of Problem Gambling. Again, that number is 1-800-GAMBLER. If you've got joint pain and they're telling you surgery is the best option, please stop what you're doing. Call QC Kinetics.
It's Jerry and their folks at QC Kinetics have been using the latest, most advanced regenerative treatments to bring lasting pain relief the natural way.
This harnesses your own body's healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in the knee, hip, shoulder, back.
And these precision treatments are done in the office. No drugs and no downtime.
QC Kinetics has hundreds of patients.
If your joints have been aching from arthritis or injury, look beyond steroids and surgery and discover the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine.
Especially this time of year, you need to be living life to the fullest, doing the stuff you love to do.
If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to check this out?
QC Kinetics in Glendale, Orange, and Mission Viejo. QC Kinetics, call for a free consultation.
213-997-PAIN. That's 213-997-PAIN. 213-997-PAIN. Get ready for iHeartRadio Icons with Queen and Adam Lambert to celebrate their announcement of the Rhapsody Tour 2023, featuring a career-spanning set list with wall-to-wall immortal anthems. That way, so you want to go with people want to. Tour tickets on sale Friday at LiveNation.com. Go make iHeartRadio Icons with Queen and Adam Lambert. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on the free iHeartRadio app Classic Rock channel. What I detest most about Twitter is the fact that everyone wants to perfect themselves as an expert on everything. And everybody wants to say anything they want. I mean, wouldn't dare say these things in person. No, Kelly, I curate my Twitter feed for my own emotional health. Live 7 to 10 p.m. on Day of I and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. AM 640, Bill Handler here on a Wednesday, and looking outside, it's raining. Raining until tomorrow, and then it rains again, and then it rains again, and then it's probably going to rain again until, well, when the rain ends, and after that, it's going to rain again. We got some rain going on, for sure. Also, just announced that LA County Deputy DA Jonathan Hatami is going to run against George Gascon. And frankly, I think George Gascon would lose to who would he lose to? Everybody. I'm trying to get a name where maybe Joseph Mengele. No, he'd lose to Joseph Mengele. That's how popular Gascon is. All right, let's talk about crime for a minute. And if you happen to own a Prius, you've got a big issue if your catalytic converter gets stolen. And if you happen to own a Prius, the chances are that your catalytic converter does get stolen. It's pretty high. And why is that? Well, a couple reasons. They're easy to steal. There are a lot of them out there. And why are catalytic converters stolen anyway? Because the precious metal inside the converter. There's cadmium, platinum, it's worth a lot of money. And what thieves do is steal them. And it's very easy to steal. I think it was Michelle yesterday. We were talking, she saw a video or someone next door. They got under the car, and in 30 seconds, they grabbed the catalytic converter, and boom, they're gone. I think you just have to saw it off. It's just connected in such a way that it's so easy, which, of course, now there's a cottage industry in which people are putting walking devices on the cars because it's just going completely crazy. My next door neighbor, it's a lovely couple who bought a Prius, and they had it for, maybe 8-9 months, and all of a sudden the Prius is gone. So I said, "Where's your Prius?" And they said, "We sold it." It sounds like we were my customer. They said, "We sold it." Well, why'd you sell it? Because the catalytic converter was stolen, and it's going to be a 6-month wait to get a new catalytic converter. They're so backlogged because so many have been stolen and so many are on order. And how do you wait 6 months for a car? So they sold it. And you think they got a lot of money? How much do you think a Prius is worth? It doesn't have a catalytic converter that you're going to wait 6 months to get one. Not a whole lot, and that's going on all over the place. And it's just, it is horrific. LA Times did a story, and you have to call the parts department of a dozen Toyota dealerships and says, "What's the wait time for a catalytic converter?" And in their case, it was, they mentioned a 2011 Prius. Because this goes way back. I mean, if you got a Prius, doesn't matter what year, you are a target. And so every single service center they talked to said the part was back ordered and wasn't available. And the best they could do, the fastest that the catalytic converter could be bought and installed at one of the dealerships was 3 months, and in others it was 8 or 9 months. I mean, it has gotten that bad. Now, how about the insurance? well, they'll pay, when you pay your deductible, they'll pay for the catalytic converter, but what they don't do is pay for a rental car. Unless you have a policy that says you get a rental car. But I don't know of a policy that's ever been written that gives you a rental car for more than 30 days. And if you're waiting 9 months or 6, or if you're waiting 3 or 6 or 9 months for a catalytic converter and you get 30 days for a rental car, figure they math out on that one. The frequency of these thefts for older Priuses went up over the past 2 years, and I looked at this. I thought this was a mistake with numbers. I thought it was 85%. It's gone up 8-fold over the past 2 years. And so you're seeing car after car abandoned. And in terms of the older Priuses, or older cars, the California Air Resources Board has approved for your use very few on older Priuses, including one that's sold for about $1,800 by one company. There's another one that's listed for about $2,800. Both, of course, are completely sold out. So not only are they backordered, they just need a whole bunch of others, and something else about catalytic converters. They take a long time to produce. The setup time and the production time and the ramp-up time for catalytic converters are very long. It takes a while. You've got porous ceramic bricks, which I'm just reading this in terms of what they're made of. I have no idea how long it takes to make a porous ceramic brick, but that's what they have inside. Precious metals, certainly we all know about that. And they can't produce them on notice. They really can't. And you can't go to a junkyard and pick it up. Well, say you have an old Prius and you need a fender. Right? You pick it up. They're all over the place. Try going to a junkyard and pick up a catalytic converter. And here is the other problem. When the converters, of course, are made by the manufacturer, car companies don't make their own parts. They order the parts and they assemble, and they stamp their own parts. But, catalytic converters are made by another company, and then they're brought in and sold to car manufacturers. So here's the choice. You put them in new cars, or do you sell them or send them to your repair centers as spare parts? Because there aren't enough to go around. Well, chances are you're going to put them in a new car, which means the wait is going to be even longer. So are there things that are being done? Yeah, you got these kits that are being made aftermarket that look, there are cages you bolt on to cover up the catalytic converter. The other thing is that, and this is the law, is I think the law is now that you have to, or soon come into effect, you have to check the VIN number on the catalytic converter. Junkyards have to prove that if they have one, they own it. In other words, it was brought to them legally. They bought it legally, which they have to anyway. Junkyard is not going to take a car without title. And adding a catalytic converter as part of that and naming it and specifying it. Hopefully that cuts down. Yeah, it has. That has not kicked in yet. So, is that going to work? I doubt it. I doubt it. People steal cars. Under law saying you can't steal a car. You do anyway. So, if you happen to have a Prius and you don't have a catalytic, and you all of a sudden wake up tomorrow morning and you don't have a catalytic converter, you bought the wrong car. Congratulations. Big monster close to you. Just to make you feel better. Oh, guess what happened yesterday or today and tomorrow? The California Reparations Task Force. Oh, yeah. It's a sitcom. It has to be. Coming up. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Your smart device was made for more than just dumb jokes and weather reports. So your smart device could play KFI AM 640. KFI. And KOST HD2. Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. At what cost? I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom, where analysts just talking about this task force weighing reparations for Black Californians
We expect to discuss the price of the program. KFI's Blake Crowley reports live. Economists say payments could cost the state $800 billion.
The task force can either adopt that price or come up with its own proposal. $800 billion is more than 2.5 times California's annual $300 billion budget. Economists previously pushed that cost to compensate for historical issues towards Black Californians. $569 billion of those dollars are estimated to make up for redlining of housing loans. The task force needs to settle on a final figure soon as it nears its July 1st deadline to make its recommendations to state leaders. Lawmakers and the governor will have final say on official reparations action. Today's meeting is set to begin in about an hour, and we'll be watching it. Reporting live, Blake Crowley, KFI News.
And Handle again, we'll talk more about this in just a few minutes. All this rain has helped refill Diamond Valley Lake in Hemet for the first time in 3 years. The lake's the largest reservoir in SoCal. The Metropolitan Water District says it serves about 19 million people in 6 counties. LAPD
Yeah, I got a hot take. Just want to keep the room on it. I really think that Amazon will end up buying AMC, and in addition, I think Jeff Bezos is good for the Washington Commanders for $6 billion movie festival. What do y'all think of that?
Homicide this year before.
Chief Moore released the department's annual homicide report yesterday and said there were 382 homicides last year, 20 fewer than 2021. Well, a felon flashed a gun during a chase, but was not carrying a gun when Fullerton police.
That's why I said it's a hot take. I want to know what you thought. Okay, thank you.
The 911 call from Austin Eichelman's father happened during the chase of a car which was tied to an armed robbery.
The soldiers there are coming up to get him right now, and he just told me he wants to die suicide by truck.
Air support video shows Eichelman get out after a fiery crash last month and run. A K-9 was deployed. Fullerton Police Captain Jonathan Raiders showed body-cam video where the guy turns toward officers in a shooting position and is killed.
It was determined that Mr. Eichelman was not armed with a gun at the time of the shooting.
He just begun the guy's blast was later found in the car, and it wasn't even a real gun. In Fullerton, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
LA County CA and the LAPD have asked for help solving a murder that happened 15 years ago in South LA. Cliff Hibbert was near Expo Parking before he was to graduate from Cal State Northridge. CA Gaston says the legal system has failed Hibbert and others like him. Gaston says African Americans represent a disproportionate number of homicide victims, and the murders are solved at a lower rate than white people. Community college students in California could have a much better shot at getting
Does anyone have any other thoughts on the sales of Washington
until the first ever citywide admission guarantee for qualified transfer students to complete a setlist.
The Washington Commanders, their franchise in the NFL, Jeff Bezos and another investment group are bidding for the ownership of it, and it looks like it's going to settle at $6 billion, and that's quite a lofty investment, and wanted to know what you thought as traders.
And President Biden is set to open a second summit for democracy with a pledge for the U.S. to spend funds on democracy programs around the globe. A senior administration official says in a follow-up to an initial investment at the first summit for democracy in 2021, President Biden will announce another major investment by the U.S. government in the presidential initiative for democratic renewal, up to $690 million in additional funding. ABC's Karen Travers says Ukraine's President Zelensky is also expected to deliver remarks during the summit. We got a closer on the 101. We'll check it after sports with Wayne.
Dodgers starter Ryan Tepio struggled against the Angels in the spring training three-way series finale. The Angels were better all around, defeating the Portuguese Blues 13-5. Here's Dodgers manager Dave Roberts on Tepio's problem.
It wasn't, the command that he's had this spring. So it's one of those things that we've got to continue to learn from it, but he just wasn't sharp.
The Dodgers open their regular season against the Arizona Diamondbacks tomorrow. The Angels will begin with a road series against the A's. And in basketball, the Lakers are visiting the Chicago Bulls today. The Clippers are at the Memphis Grizzlies. That game's at 5 live on AM 570 LA Sports. I'm Wayne Redstick, AFI Sports. Americans pay $5 billion per year to control termite and repair termite damage every year. And we know termites can be destructive, but this is a whole lot. Far more than you probably or I would guess. Termites cause more property damage than every storm, every earthquake, every flood in the United States combined. So, probably not even covered by your insurance, is it? You get the right to do, if they need to, treat your home for termites, there's no tension. They literally can be home when they treat. That is the magic of Pacific Coast Termite. Call 800-PACIFIC, 800-PACIFIC. PacificCoastTermite.com, 800-PACIFIC. Pacific Coast Termite, the green, friendly way.
TFI Financial Update is brought to you by Jacoby and Myers. The Dow is up 169, S&P up 33, NASDAQ is up 122, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $4.83. Don't wait. Maximize your compensation after an accident. Call Jacoby and Myers now. Justice for you since 1972. SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a rainy day ahead. Temperatures are just going to be in the upper 50s to the lower 60s. It'll start to taper off later this afternoon, and then more rain is expected tonight into tomorrow. Right now it's 47 in Baldwin Park, 46 in Pacoima, 49 in Laguna Hills. Let's get a look at your drive with your KFI in the sky. We've got a closer on the 101.
You are headed towards Northern California and you're headed towards Santa Barbara. Head up north of Santa Barbara, north of Toledo there. We've got a full closure, full directions for 101 due to flooding and mud in the roadway. No estimated time from the CHP as to when this is going to reopen. Normally, this would be an alternate if the Grapevine was closed. Right now, the 5 Grapevine Ridge Route is open and moving well, but the weather's only getting worse through that area, so it could be a matter of time. Meanwhile, the Cajon Pass looking good right now. I-15, no major problems there. The 14th freeway is just terrible southbound, getting away from Agua Dulce, pretty much all the San Canyon, all the way down to emerge with the 5. And some other problems in the city. We've got issues in Lacey Terrace, 210 freeway westbound of Cleveland, left lane blocked there with a crash there. Slow back from Sunland in the Pasadena area. We did have a crash 210 eastbound right around the Royal. Looks like it's cleared, but in Corinth, a stall was in lane 405 northbound at Crenshaw, causing some delays there. AFI in the sky. I'll get you there faster. I'm Luke Holzbreiter. This hour of the Bill Handel Show is brought to you by WDC Kitchen and Appliances.com. WDCAppliances.com.
Celebrate Easter with Soda Brothers Market. Pick up the perfect gift to build Easter baskets for your friends and family. From chocolates and wines to flowers and gift cards, there's something for everyone. Happy Easter from Soda Brothers Market.
Termite problems? Search PacificCoastTermite.com or call 800-PACIFIC. More stimulating talk. Also, here's Bill Handel. Thank you. AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Handel here on a rainy Wednesday, March 29. You look outside the window here in Burbank. Yep, raining. And this goes through tomorrow, and then it comes back again, and then it comes back again. Got a lot of rain this season for sure. And the FDA, breaking news this morning, approved for the first time that Narcan, the anti-opiate overdose medicine, can now be sold over the counter. Heretofore, it had to be a prescription. So let me tell you what's going on in San Francisco right now. There's a meeting today and tomorrow of the California Reparations Task Force. And this has to do with paying reparations to African Americans that live here in California. The California Committee, the task force, and the numbers are coming out. Now, as ridiculous as these numbers are, and I mean, they are not even this side of insane, way over the other side. There is things that we should consider. So, as economists who are in front of the state panel have said, it could cost California more than $800 billion to compensate black residents for generations of over-policing, incarceration, housing discrimination, and it just goes on and on and on. And all of that is true. But it's $800 billion, which, by the way, that's a very conservative figure, because if you look at things for a lot of it, which isn't even considered, it's way over $1 trillion. for a state where the entire annual budget is $300 billion. So effectively, it is over 3 times the entire budget of the state. So for 3 years, every dime that comes into the state isn't used for anything other than paying reparations. Okay? By the way, that doesn't include $1 million per older black resident for health disparities that have shortened their lifespan, or compensating people for properly and justly taken by the government their businesses, devaluing businesses. So you have to add that. And so they're discussing the numbers today and tomorrow, and are going to come up with suggestions. And that goes to the legislature, and it goes to the governor. The problem is those entities are in favor of massive reparations. Why not? So Assemblymember Reggie Jones-Sayer, who is a big proponent, he's one of 2 lawmakers on the task force, and he's responsible for getting support from the state legislature and the governor for any reparations to become a reality. But they're already there, helping them out, and the number is, as I said, basically over $1 trillion. And the economists are saying if you're going to err, let's err on the side of generosity. So we'll go the other way. There are other redresses that are being considered. Paying incarcerated inmates market value for their labor, establishing free wellness centers, planting more trees in black communities, banning cash bails, adopting a K-12 black studies curriculum. Boy, I'm going to hire someone who has a special black studies curriculum, which will separate out from everybody else. An advisory committee in San Francisco recommended a $5 million payout per person. The supervisors expressed general support. They said, yeah. Now, insane as this is, and there are people, of course, it's not going to pass. I mean, even people that want to pass, what legislature is going to say, yeah, we don't want any money for anything, no roads, we don't want any state services, state government, nobody's on salary, we fire everybody, we're going to give it all to this reparations program. Now, we have had reparations. That's not new. Reparations have been paid. The state of California has paid reparations. And they paid reparations to the Japanese Americans who were interned in the camps during World War II. $20,000 per person. But it was for anybody who was interned in the camp. Not the kids, not generations later. This is about every American who is an African American who is not an immigrant. If you somehow your background is you're a progeny of slaves, which a lot of African Americans are, then you guys get the $5 million and the free housing and the free pizza every Friday or whatever the hell these reparations committee want. And it's just insane. And the reason I bring this up is you're seriously considering this. And it is absolutely true. All of the discrimination and the redlining and the way African Americans have been treated, there's no question about that. And the answer is, what do you do? Well, to a lot of people on the committee and advocates, which there are plenty of people in the legislature, you break the bank. What you do is you hand the African Americans the key to California. Okay, why not? I know, sounds like a movie for TV. It's not. Coming up, Mike Pence has to testify. That just came down. What does that mean? And then Dean starts coming in at 8:30. This is KFI. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Former President Trump will have to wait until next week at the earliest to find out if he's indicted for a crime in the 2016 hush money payment case to Stormy Daniels. Federal judge in California says Google will be sanctioned for failing to preserve chat messages between employees related to its antitrust case brought by Epic Games. And the percentage of all-male boards among the country's most heavily funded private companies is now 32%. That's down from 60% in 2019.
Unfiltered, fluoridated tap water just doesn't cut it. It's safe. I mean, it's obviously very safe, but it's tap water. So how do you think that tastes? Well, a light source system gives you the filtered, delicious water straight from every tap because the water is filtered from the outside of the house and goes in already filtered. Filters out chlorine, contaminants, retaining the healthy minerals, and just tastes fantastic. And it's maintenance free. No filters to change, no salt, nothing. Once installed, just forget it. Just enjoy the water. You're bathing, you're cooking, you're washing dishes, clothes, drinking what is effectively bottled water, and boy, what a great cup of coffee it makes. Do not have a light source system at my house for over 10 years. New customers get a free Apacure and antibacterial filter. This ends in 3 days, March 31, and this is a savings of $825. Call 800-203-2696, 800-203, taste and feel the difference.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a rainy day ahead with highs in the upper 50s to lower 60s. This report is brought to you by Kidful Stores. Let's get a look at that drive with KFI in the sky with 405.
405 southbound. Right at the 7 and 10, we have all lanes completely stopped as they work to clear a crash there. Traffic is jammed solid on the southbound side from the 110. Northbound, it's pretty ugly getting away from, it looks like about before Lakewood Boulevard on the northbound side. So you're going to have to factor in some extra time. In fact, wherever you go this morning, pretty much double your drive time if you're heading into work. The westbound side of it, it's ugly as well. Super slow. Getting out of the San Gabriel Valley, especially from about Azusa Avenue over through the city of Industry, it's just a slow drive to get to 710. And if you are trying to get through Lakeview Terrace, a crash on the 210 freeway westbound of Cleveland, left lane block there is slow from Sunrise Boulevard. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Will Goldbrother. During Staples Pizza Blues, the pizza stay big, or do save, like 20% on all Crayola sauce. Plus 24-pack cases of two clear bottled water, only $3.99. Kids store only, offer in for one wall supply flyers. Limit one on one. Hope your favorite pizza stocks their price.
Brings us to life at Woodbridge Market. Get 5 yellow members for just $4.50 with Prime to April 4th. Lighten up your smoothies and salads and pounce on the TML. Drop the pie glass. Shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer over 50 different custom window treatments, including faux-wood blinds and shutters, all at prices less than retail. Plus, we'll send you free samples before you buy. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com. As you love. The prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 38,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit Uline.com.
USA is ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with retail banking in California by J.D. Power. Since California is home to most award shows, we prepare to thank you, Steve.
The Californians everywhere, we've been proud to help you plan, budget, and save smarter. Our gold tracking and budgeting tools would have no place to shine if it weren't for you, and we can't thank you enough for that. And thank you to our real-life humans who go above and beyond for our customers every day.
Oh, you look good. Saturday, transform your outdoors with System Savers. For a limited time, save up to thousands with free demolition. Call 800-PAD-004 or visit SystemSavers.com to get started. All orders must be placed by March 31st. See the website for details. Contractor's license 661-575. More stimulating songs.
And I have radio stations.
Promise that I'll be showing you. I'm not here to say the truth. I only know what I'm doing. On and out of my shoes. I'm gonna know.
KFI AM 640 handle here on a Wednesday morning, March 29th. Raining. I won't say cats and dogs.
Why you have to be careful if it's raining cats and dogs.
Why?
If you might step in a poodle.
You actually get paid to be here, don't you? Yeah, I'll read those in next year. Yeah, you actually get money for that. Okay, why did you hear that? Now, what's going on in the world, and of course we have to talk about it, the world of Donald Trump and 3 investigations going on right now. One, the DA of Manhattan, or the DA of New York, forgot which county it is, probably whatever county the Manhattan is in. And Michelle, what county is that? Is running around.
I'm sorry.
What county is Manhattan in?
It's Manhattan.
It is Manhattan. It's their own county. Okay, so the DA of Manhattan County, who has called a grand jury to talk about or investigate the money that was paid to Stormy Daniels. And it was done just a few days before the election of 2016. And the argument was it paid to basically get her to shut up and not talk about her deal, the hush money that she got from Donald Trump. And saying that, and he said it was legal fees, that's the problem. He said this was legal fees and not payment. So he effectively lied because he deducted it and didn't say that this was a campaign contribution. That is the criminal allegation. Flakiest one they have one. Absolutely the flakiest one. I don't even know why. If the grand jury hands down an indictment, they would go ahead. Well, the DA brand hates Donald Trump, and this is only 95% political. So the Trump people, as well as his supporters, are arguing political. I agree with that. Now, the other two investigations that are going on, you've got the federal investigation into a couple of things. One, you've got the January 6th insurrection itself, and how responsible was he for that? That's going to go no place because he did not call for the insurrection. He called for the crowd to go to the Capitol and let them know what he said. Gather at the Capitol, do not break in. He never said that. Now, was he thrilled they broke in? Well, there's evidence he wasn't unhappy that they broke in, but he can be thrilled as long as he doesn't call for it. All right, so there's that investigation, and that's going to go no place if they charge him. I hope they don't, because that becomes a political witch hunt too. Anybody else could be up there screaming, let him know, it's not going to get charged. Because the incitement to riot is very specific. The other thing are those documents that are being investigated. Those classified documents out of Mar-a-Lago. I think you've got a problem with those. Now, the argument is, well, Pence has a document. You've got Joe Biden, who had a few documents, but they were turned over instantly to the FBI. The problem that Trump has is that he didn't turn them over. What happened is the FBI fought it and he's still fighting it. And the argument now is that he says his lawyers said that he's lying to him about it, and that's why they signed an affidavit saying he turned over all the documents. And he is saying, I just listened to his lawyers, and there was no criminal intent. Well, clearly all they have to do is prove that he had the intent to keep the documents and did not turn them over to the National Archives per law, as required by federal law. And so I think that one is going to fly. I think former President Trump has a real issue on that one. And the other one, which I think is the strongest one of all, is that the grand jury in Georgia is looking at his attempt to overturn the election in Georgia, the election vote. That's all they have jurisdiction to do. That what he did was try to overturn with the testimony that has already been given to the grand jury. It's the secret stuff, because we don't know what grand jury testimony is about until later on. Where I believe he did everything. Is it obvious he did everything he could to overturn the election? What, you think that's news? You can't do that. You cannot overturn an election. That's interference with the government process. You can't overturn a legitimate election. As a matter of fact, I don't even think you can overturn an election that you say was not legitimate. It takes the court to make that determination. You can't just up and say this is illegitimate, I'm going to try to turn it over. And he's got big issues because everybody around him says that we knew that this was a lost election. He knew it was a lost election. You've got the people at Fox who are saying in emails going, we have lost the election. We know that Trump has lost. And then they went on the air and said Trump has won. Trump has won. It's a rigged election. And they have it with emails going back and forth that they knew that was not true. And the reason that they went forward with those lies was because of race. Because of race. Tucker Carlson, John went forward and did not follow the mantra that the election was stolen. So now we have Mike Pence. Mike Pence has been brought to the grand jury, and he's being asked to testify. He fought it and Trump fought it. And this has to do with the investigation of January 6th. How responsible is Donald Trump, and what were the conversations? Because Trump did call Mike Pence a whole bunch of times until the insurrection. And then when the crowd took over the Capitol, we hang Mike Pence, because he refused to fail to certify, which he had to do, the vote. He counts the vote and says, all right, Joe Biden has now been elected President of the United States, and what Trump wanted him to do was not do that, and therefore it's some wild, crazy theory that if he didn't do that, then the vote goes back to the state legislators, and then they put up their electors who clearly would elect Donald Trump, and that's why he was pushing Mike Pence to not count, not count, not count. And then the insurrection took place. As soon as the crowd took over the Capitol, he never called him up as Mike Pence again. And Pence was not happy about it. But Pence is fighting his testimony. He doesn't want to testify. Here's what the federal judge said. You can fail, or you can say no in testifying as to what happened while you were sitting in Congress. Remember, he is president of the Senate. If there's a break or his responsibility counts votes. That period you can go ahead and argue, and I will grant you the right not to testify. But everything else, you've got to testify. Conversations that happened before the vote, emails that you got, lists that you got, phone calls that you got from President Trump, and there were plenty of them. Relative to you can't count the votes, you can't when the legislature, the Senate, and the House, I mean, they were under attack. I think it was the House that was under attack. And he said, we're moving forward with the vote, come hell or high water. And that's why it was hang Mike Pence. And former President Trump outside, at that point he was in the White House, screaming Mike Pence together. So that's what's going on. That's the latest. Okay, now, Dean Sharp. We had Wednesday with Dean Sharp and House Whisperer, wood deck and patio furniture, which is perfect because you're going to be outside in this weather enjoying your patio. Timing is perfect. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
A teenage boy has suffered from alcohol poisoning at a charter school in Pasadena and is in critical condition. Police Lieutenant Tim Bundy says the boy was found vomiting and lethargic at the school Monday. He said paramedics treated the boy at the scene, but his condition deteriorated. Bundy says the boy was taken to the hospital where he was diagnosed with alcohol poisoning. The school operates a dropout recovery program that says students who have dropped out of the Pasadena school district. News is brought to you by Three James Accident Attorneys. A state bill modeled off a homeless camping van in L.A. has failed in a Senate committee.
State Senator Brian Jones introduced the bill, says it's a shame the Democrat-led Public Safety Committee didn't pass the bill. Jones pushed for the bill ahead of a hearing yesterday. We have encampments on nearly every single city block. Children are being exposed to open drug use and other illicit crimes. The bill would ban homeless camps near police officers called sensitive areas, including schools and daycares. Officers will be required to give a 72-hour notice to police and provide people with information on shelters and services. The bill was granted reconsideration. Boy, trolling. Hey, if I knew.
A lawyer who once represented former rap mogul Suge Knight in a murder case has been sentenced to 5 years probation for conspiracy and perjury. Matthew Fletcher also has been ordered not to practice law in California. He pleaded guilty last year to conspiracy to obstruct disciplinary proceeding for a separate murder case. Well, the Queen Mary is set to reopen for overnight guests and shutting down during the pandemic. SoCal residents Kate Mary says we spent New Year's Eve on the 6th just before it closed. We rented a room, we had the full overnight, it was a great celebration, tons of fun. They had to open all events that offered prior to COVID, like wine tasting and Halloween haunts. Ukraine's President Zelensky has warned that Russia's nation wins a drawn-out battle in a key city in Ukraine. Russia could start building international support for a deal that would hurt Ukraine. He says the deal would require Ukraine to make unacceptable compromises.
To expel this history, to let the society, to China, to Iran.
Zelensky says if Russia's president feels some blood or smells Ukraine's weakness, he will continue to push. And Mariah Carey and Megan Thee Stallion will headline this year's LA Pride in the Park and Night in the 5 after sports with Lane. The Dodgers dropped the Spring Training Freeway Series finale against the Angels 13-5. Meanwhile, Forbes estimates that Angels two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani will earn a league record $65 million this year. The Dodgers open their regular season against the Arizona Diamondbacks tomorrow at 7:10. You can hear Dodgers games in HD on the iHeartRadio app live from the Calvin Motors podcast booth. The Angels will begin with a road series against the A's. In hockey, the LA Kings got pinned by the Calgary Flames in a 2-1 loss. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports. Selling your house is a big decision. And very few people have over the last few years because you're looking at the house and increasing the value almost by the day. Well, those days are gone. So, all right, maybe now's the time to do it. And a couple ways to do it. You can list it, pay 6%, and you can continue your repair. Prospective buyers come through the house, you can't be there at all, keep spotless, done that. It's not easy to do. Let me tell you what is easy to do. Directbuyers.com. They'll buy your house, give you a fair price, and the hassle is zero. Nobody walks through the house, they don't pay any commission, live the way you're living, and you're going to get that fair price. And they'll even give you $15,000 cash advance before closing to help with your move, and they'll never lowball you. Go to directbuyers.com, directbuyers.com, call 844-242-SELL, 844-242-SELL, directbuyers.com. SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a rainy day. A high temperatures will be in the upper 50s to lower 60s. The rain will taper off this afternoon and then come back tonight into tomorrow. Then should taper off for the weekend. Let's get a look at your drive at KFI in the sky in the 5.
Problems as you head up East Boulevard. Then further to the south, past Harbor Boulevard, another track that's in the left lane. We are looking at problems in West LA, the 405 southbound at the Harbor Boulevard. The left lane block there was flowing back from the 5. Again, that's the 5. Basically, the whole stretch of the 405 from the 5 all the way down into West LA. It's pretty much wherever you're going this morning, that's going to be the case. Don't forget, we have a full closure up north, the 101 both directions north of Santa Barbara, completely shut down due to flooding. We'll let you know when that reopens. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Will Colfrider.
Need an accident, a burning by a crime. All you got to do is call the accident guy.
Injured in a car accident or at work, call the accident guy. Because unlike other firms, an attorney will negotiate their case, not a paralegal.
Spring's going to be here soon, so start saving money with solar from SolarMax Technology.
Get a 12-panel system for $0 down and $59.99 a month. Plus, you want to lock in your NEM 2.0 benefits by April 13th.
Now, pound 250 and say SolarMax, or go to SolarMaxTech.com.
Well, again, available on 2 credit days, number 972. By now, you've heard all of our America's largest injury law firm. It means that when you hire us, you get a legal army. When it comes to law, size matters more than more. Visit ordercommission.com for an office near you.
I'm Martin Hope, the inventor of Nevada Nasal Care, and I love Nevada. I've told you about how your nose is divided care filter. The Nevada's powered suction will help flush out allergies, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Nevada will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Nevada? Like Josh, quote, after walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Nevada. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my
my life. This is a life changer, unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews trading in Nevada. The all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore.
Children's Hospital, Los Angeles. Make March Matter makes amazing things happen for sick kids. It's a month-long event that takes place right in your neighborhood. So every time you stop, dine, or attend an event at a participating partner, they'll donate funds to support Children's Hospital Los Angeles. It feels so good to give, and saving lives is everyone's business. For more information, visit MakeMarchMatter.org. That's MakeMarchMatter.org.
This is Jacob Emron. If you've been in a truck accident, call 844-24-JACOB.
KFI AM 640.
The news, what it means, why it matters. KFI AM 640, Bill Handle here. Wednesday morning, March 29th, as we finish the show. Quick reminder, today on Gary and Shannon at 12:30, it's What's to Watch this Wednesday. You don't want to miss that. And some of the big stories that we are covering, Mike Pence has been ordered to testify to the grand jury investigating the January 6th committee. That's what the judge ruled. And here's something. Remember we did the story about AI? Now, according to Goldman Sachs, 300 million jobs could be affected by the latest wave of AI. So that's going to change our lives big time. But now, since it's Wednesday, and the last half hour is devoted to none other than Dean Sharp and Scandal and the House Whisper segment being 6 to 8 p.m. or 6 to 8 a.m. on Saturday, Sunday, 9 to noon. All right, Dean Sharp. Good morning, Dean. Good morning, Bill. Okay, now, I think this is perfect. I don't know. Here we go. Oh, no. Here we go. Come on. Okay.
So it's raining. There's already blue skies.
Yeah, all right. So here is the topic, and this is the way it works. Dean usually sends me the topic because Dean is talking about it over the weekend. So it's roughly a precursor, a primer of what's happening. So today we're going to talk about decking, outdoor decking. Dean, are you near a window?
I am.
You want to look outside?
It's a little moist. Okay? But there are some blue skies coming.
There are. At some point,
I tell you what, Bill.
at some point there is.
You know what? I know we still got rain, but the rains are ending soon. They really are. And you talk to any expert, including me, when it comes to outdoor stuff around your home. This year, with all this moisture in the ground, spring's not just going to creep in silently. Spring is about to explode on us. The plants, the wildlife, everything that's going on outside, it is going to burst forth in glorious, rapid manner. And we're just trying to get ahead of the game.
Yeah, are you writing a song? Is that what's going on? Bursting forth and glorious.
I'm relaxing poetic.
Yeah.
Someone needs to.
Yeah, that's this is my middle name here on the show. All right, so now, I know you're a huge fan of decking. We've been talking about it a long time, and you not remodel, but when you design homes, help people with their homes. Decking is a big part of it, because number one, people tend to ignore it, or who really just run-of-the-mill decking and don't pay attention and look at price and don't look at the beauty index can be absolutely gorgeous. So,
And I sent you some pictures to give you a little inspiration.
and I'm looking at pictures, and Dean always has these available, and some of these decks are just stunning. Now, I must tell you, because I have a deck at home. Actually, I don't have a deck. I make mine out of I have steps, etc. Mine is concrete. I'm looking at some of these decks. They're gorgeous, but they don't look very practical. How so? Okay, you've got decks. For example, there's one I'm looking at, which is a knockout. The stairs are in the corner. It's a floating deck, and the stairs are in the corner. But any other place, you're stepping a fairly long distance to the other level.
That's true.
Okay. Then you have a lot of these circular decks, which are with railings around them. But doesn't that cut down on the amount of the floor space that you can put furniture on and enjoy in a large way? It can, and yes, each one of these areas is a really well-defined space, and that's what I like about it. I know decks do not need to be, and that's one of those, I'm glad you brought this up. You're mistaken about it, but I'm glad you brought it up, and that is that one of the mistakes that people make with a wood deck, especially, is they make an aircraft carrier landing out there. They put a tarmac out in the back of their house, and it's big and it's unwieldy, and you don't need to do that with a deck. One of the reasons I love working with decks for rear yard design is because more than maybe any other hard surface in the backyard, a deck really has a self-defining quality to it when it comes to defining a space, because it's got an edge, a very clear raised edge. It's a way of saying, you see this space right here? This is the room. This is a really good exterior design. Really good exterior design. Actually, the same as interior design architecturally in a house. Your backyard should consist of, or could, just to give everybody focus, consist of hallways, rooms, spaces, windows, walls, ceilings. Now, we use different materials. The ceiling of a space in your backyard may be the canopy of a tree instead of a big, massive drywall. But still, those principles and those destinations, they're all the same. And a deck does this uniquely. Yeah, you bring up a lot of stuff that I hadn't even thought about, that no one thinks about in terms of the makeup of the deck. We're going to take a break and just real quick, and then make out the deck. But much like houses, good architecture is basically the same cost to build as bad architecture. And absolutely. And these are decks that are decks. Well, he'll talk about those. And then when we come back, we'll talk about the different materials. We'll talk about what is necessary. You need a permit, for example, to build a deck. I always thought no. We'll come back to Dean Sharp and finish up our handling the house list for segment. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones Reed live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
President Biden says Benjamin Netanyahu will not be invited to the White House anytime soon as the Israeli leader tries to push through a controversial judicial reform. A student accused of threatening other students at a school in Maryland, the Frederick County Sheriff's Office says the student created a PowerPoint presentation threatening violence toward 10 of his classmates. Jeremy Renner is set to attend his first such event since his accident on a snowplow in January. The actor will be at the Renovations world premiere April 11th. It's his new vehicle renovation show. Starts streaming April 12th on Disney+. We'll get over to your drive with EKFI in the Sky in the 10 in just a moment.
So people are back to borrowing against the equity in their home. And that's because prior to now, the equity was building by the day. So now it's flattened out. So you're looking at it, okay, I'm going to get the most money I can. And let's look at some borrowing against the equity. Now, if you need $75,000 or more, HMS Capital is here. It can help you borrow the money against the equity. And I know how good they are. I've done 2 mortgages with them over the years. No appraisal, credit report fee to apply for. Best rates out there, I discovered that, and their service impeccable. HMS Capital, 833-255-5698. 833-255-5698. Visit hmscapital.com. hmscapital.com.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a rainy day ahead. Has to be in the upper 50s to the low 60s. This report is brought to you by Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Let's check your drive this time on the 10.
City, LA, the 10 freeway eastbound at Robertson. The left lane block is crashed there, and we can look at the flowing back to Bundy Drive. An earlier crash is cleared in Lakeview Center. 210 westbound is legally go forward to approach. And a wreck in the Legion Park. The 110 freeway southbound is Stadium Way. Crash to the right lane there has fuel change tied up back from Avenue 52. Remember, pretty much double your drive time to work this morning because this is that roadway. Stay up in the sky. Let's get you there faster. I'm a little cold driver.
Bring back to life out on this deal now. while supplies last. Shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
This report is sponsored by BlindShirt.com. Hi, I'm Kyle at BlindShirt.com, and I sell custom blinds designed for do-it-yourselfers. Unlike stock blinds offered at big box retailers, Blindster blinds are custom made for your windows and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at BlindShirt.com.
If you've got joint pain and they're telling you surgery is your best option, please stop what you're doing. Call QC Kinetics.
Hey, Jerry and Sam, and the folks at QC Kinetics have been using the latest, most advanced regenerative treatments to bring lasting pain relief the natural way.
This harnesses your own body's healing agents to restore and repair damaged tissue in your knees, hips, shoulder, back.
And these precision treatments are done in the office. No drugs and no downtime.
QC Kinetics has hundreds of clinics all over America and thousands of satisfied patients.
If your joints have been aching from arthritis and discovering the amazing possibilities with regenerative medicine.
Especially this time of year, you need to be living life to the fullest, doing the stuff you love to do.
If you can get relief and avoid going under the knife, doesn't it make sense to check this out?
QC Kinetics. In Glendale, Orange, and Mission Viejo, QC Kinetics, call for a free consultation.
213-997-PAIN. That's 213-997-PAIN. 213-997-PAIN.
Looking for a better return on your investment? First National Realty Partners has historic returns of 15% IRR from their $1.5 billion in commercial real estate assets. With national brand tenants like Walmart, Whole Foods, Publix, and more, you'll build a portfolio of institutional quality private real estate with true cash flow. With historic returns of 15% IRR, First National Realty Partners has the advantage over the current market and even gold. Call 888-301-9010 or go to fnrtradio.com. That's fnrtradio.com. Get all the benefits of fully passive real estate ownership. Get in on the current deals while they're available. Call 888-301-9010 or go to fnrtradio.com. Securities are only available to verified accredited investors. Investments are subject to risk, including losing principal. Cash distributions are not guaranteed. Any representations made about investment stability reflect FNRP's strategy and may or may not be realized. Visit fnrtradio.com.
Dr. Charles Vander at Saddleback Eye Center. He will give you the all-new Laser Light LASIK exam. Have you heard? The Laser Light LASIK exam uses a laser, measures your eyes over 1,000 times to perfectly match your vision. Everyone's eye is slightly different. We're all like children. And the Laser Light LASIK exam helps Dr. Vander, when he does the procedure, to give you crystal clear vision. I will give away a Laser Light LASIK exam to the first 14 KFI callers. I'll give you the phone number in a moment. So have your phone ready. If you're nearsighted, farsighted, you have astigmatism, or you need reading glasses, Dr. Vander can do it all. If you're told you're not a candidate for LASIK, you may now qualify for it. Now that Dr. Vander has the Laser Light LASIK exam, it takes over 1,000 measurements of your eyes. Be one of the first 14 callers to get the free exam. Call 866-559-4444. 866-559-4444. 866-559-4444.
Portions of the following program will be recorded. And now, a few words from your dog.
Hey, it's Jennifer Jones. Please join me and my team of Wake Up Call Wigglers at Brookside Park in Pasadena, Sunday, April 2nd for Pasadena community's Wiggle Waggle Walk to raise funds to help them care for the hundreds of animals we take in each year. To donate or join our team and walk with us, go to KFIAM640.com/wiggle.
KFIAM640 or stimulating talk. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Bill Handel here. We finished last segment of Wednesday, handling the House Whisperer segment being sharp. Heard Saturday 6 to 8 a.m. and Sunday noon, 9 to noon is Social Address at Home with Dean. And we're talking with guests because it is so sunny and beautiful outside. Hey, I just sent you a text of the photo outside my window here. Blue skies, my friend. All right, blue skies. Okay, well, that's good for the rest of us because it's pouring over here. But let's talk about desk for a moment because you brought up some stuff that I hadn't really thought of, and that is looking at the desk as another room with its always rooms laid out, and that just makes so much sense to me. You go, okay, I buy that. And there's some photos of desks that are just gorgeous. thought should be done. I'm assuming those photos are going to be on your website, right? Yeah, we'll be getting those up soon. Yeah. Okay, got it. So, a couple things about that. What do you make them out of? Because traditionally they're wood. They're wood, and you have to paint them, and then you have to deal with them every year, applying a varnish coat or some kind of a finish. And so the materials are very different today. And then the question is, what do you need permits to put them in? All right, well, let's start with that list backwards, okay? First of all, permitting. Now, this changes. You got to check with your local municipality. But as a general rule, if your deck is going to exceed 200 square feet, and you can have more than one of these in the backyard, but a single deck exceeding 200 square feet, you're probably going to need a full permit for. It's not a big deal. If it's more than 30 inches above grade, okay, yes, a permit. If it's attached to the building. Now, not necessarily right up to it. My deck, I've got an 800 square foot deck. It is literally the way that you walk out of my entryway in my living room into the backyard, but it is not attached to the house, so it doesn't fall into that category. And if the deck serves as the main exit of the dwelling, those are generally the conditions where you have to pull a permit. Other than that, you're probably pretty good to go. Okay, that's the permitting issue. The bigger and the higher a deck gets, the more you really need to think about engineering. If you're going to pull a permit, the city will tell you how much engineering you need to get in relation to a deck, because they got to be safe. They got to be safe and strong and protect you and do their job. As far as materials go, man, that is one of the things that we're going to spend most time on this weekend, because the world has changed. Redwood and cedar decks and the tropical hardwoods, they are the classic materials for making decks. The problem is redwood and cedar in very short supply these days. Quality stuff, you can still do it, but quality stuff in very, very short supply. Tropical hardwoods, questionably harvested, we'll just put it that way. What's wrong with harvested hardwoods? Harvested hardwoods, when they're not farmed specifically for harvest, we're talking about rainforest clearing kind of stuff. So not the best thing for the planet when it comes to that. There are ways of finding tropical hardwoods that have been harvested sustainably, and if they have been, believe me, the brand is going to be telling you all about it. Okay? They'll be telling you. And if you're not hearing that, then it wasn't. But as far as the newest, the latest and greatest materials, you've got stuff out here now, thermally treated bamboo. Bamboo, which is grass and grows, and talking giant bamboo, at 3 feet sometimes a day, okay? And if it's not harvested, by the way, it dies in 10 years. So it is an incredible material for lumber, for structural members as well, but for decking. They can strip it apart, they can recombine it, send it through a thermal process that kills off the carbohydrates in the bamboo. And without those carbs in the bamboo, without those sugars, there's nothing that insects or mold or bacteria or fungi want to eat. And so it weatherproofs the wood. Thermally treated bamboo, thermally treated ash and spruce and pine, same process. And my favorite, which you and I have talked about recently, from Modern Mill, everybody just check this out, modernmill.com. Their material is called Acre. It is made entirely of upcycled rice hulls as a byproduct of the American rice industry. A 100% sustainable product, 100% recycled, clean product, and as close to tropical hardwood as I have ever seen anything come. It is an amazing thing. And how expensive is it? Because I'm assuming that the market is still fairly small and it's expensive to manufacture. Yeah, it is priced right in there. It's cheaper than tropical hardwood. Priced right in there with your higher grade Trex and these other synthetic decking materials, which I am really not a fan of. Yeah, explain that, because there are these resins that look like wood. I mean, some of them look pretty bad, especially the fencing that they do. But they're waterproof, they last forever. Why are you not a fan? Well, I'm not a fan from a designer's perspective, first and foremost, because I don't think they look like wood. I think they look like plastic. They feel like plastic. They get too hot during the summer. They don't behave like wood. Number two, though, they all get sold as green. They're made out of recycled products, which is true. But the best looking stuff out there is a combination of recycled PVC and sawdust. That's the best looking stuff. Sure, sawdust is a recycled product, PVC is a recycled product, but as soon as you mix these two together, this thing can never be recycled again. So I question how green it really is. One of the things you left out was teak. Teak is, well, you see them on the deck of ships, and occasionally you see teak decks. As far as the wood is concerned, is that even considered, is that used at all? Yeah, that falls under the category of a tropical hardwood. Teak is still around, but it is super expensive, and again, very, very questionably sourced in most situations. So you just got to choose your homework just so that you're not aiding the obliteration of teeth from planet Earth. All right, when you, let's say, most people are going to hire a contractor to do their deck, especially a fairly complex one, especially if you have to pour a foundation and do all the rest of it. You get a specialist who does that, or just any general contractor? There are contractors that are better at it than others. There are some decking companies out there. They're usually connected to the material suppliers. So in general, look for a general contractor who has had a lot of experience doing decks and go and see their work. You got it. Be sharp. This Saturday, 6 to 8. Sunday, 9 to noon. Have a good one. Catch you over the weekend. Thanks, Bill. All right, coming up, Gary and Shannon. And Gary, what's going on with you today? First segment, we're going to talk a little bit about what Mr. Rogers was done after that shooting in Nashville, which was honored of heroes. We'll talk about not just the two police officers, but the head mistress of the school, who her friend, Archie Vince, ran towards the shooter when he was able to get in. Also, Terror in the Skies, we have a new lawsuit of whether or not to use that cheap fire retardant that we see. It may be a little early for fire season, but is it ever too early for fire season? KFI and the federal SB HD2 offering with the Storm County. What a nice catch. I'm Jennifer Jones, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Economists say potential reparations for Black Californians could cost more than $800 billion. KFI spoke slowly for Bush Live, a reparations task force meeting to discuss the price. $800 billion is more than 2.5 times California's $300 billion annual budget. That cost is to compensate for historical issues Black Californians have faced, including obesity and housing discrimination. Economists previously did that proposed $800 billion to the task force. $569 billion would make up for the redlining of housing loans. Now, the task force could choose to adopt that $800 billion price tag or come up with its own figures during the meeting, which is just about underway. The task force needs to settle on a final figure soon, as it is its July 1st deadline to make recommendations to lawmakers who ultimately, along with the governor, have final say-so in official reparations action. Reporting live, let's roll with KFI News. Well, this latest storm has already dumped more than 3 inches of rain in the northern Bay Area and northern California. The highest snowfall total so far is near Mount Shasta. That area has 25 inches of fresh powder. The rain in SoCal started last night and is expected to stick around through tomorrow morning. The LAPD's annual homicide report has been released. In 2022, there were 362 homicides, 20 fewer than the year before. A January homicide last year, the lowest overall percentage in 2022. However, we still see that January homicides represent more than half all homicides in the city of Los Angeles. The key point is that the homicides are up in the San Fernando Valley and down in South LA. People are coming forward and calling in sick. Because the top 3 motives for homicide include dispute, gangs, and robbery. That's LAPD headquarters Chief Gregory Codefine. Orange County supervisors have approved spending $225,000 to help fix a fountain in downtown Orange that was damaged during a police chase. The driver of a stolen car lost control, missing a turn a couple of weeks ago and crashed into a historic fountain at Orange Plaza Park, breaking some of the tile work. The restoration will be done by the grandson of the designer of the original tile work. A federal program in California would give millions of dollars to cities to deal with traffic pollution. In 2022, there were most of California's traffic pollution comes from cargo trucks coming in and out of port. Natural Resources Defense Council Attorney David Pettit says California is out of compliance with federal air quality law and the federal air quality regulations. They should say trucks can only travel on the freeways on, even numbered days. Long Beach could receive $30 million to move traffic and farther away from an elementary school.
and $2 million would go to Pasadena, so the city can redesign a piece of the 710 freeway. Both cities are scheduled to receive funding this spring. In August, the fabulous KFI News U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders
contract with workers when first started being unionized in 2021. Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz testified before the Senate defending the company's actions during the ongoing unionizing campaign.
Today, baristas in our stores earn on average $17.50. Respectfully, that's more than the minimum wage of every senator that's represented state on this committee.
So, as the majority of Starbucks employees are buy now, pay later model, the company will roll out the program to some consumers this spring and start reporting the loans to credit bureaus in the fall. Apple's version is integrated with Apple Pay and will require customers to use the debit card and bank account to make those payments. The company says it will not charge flat or percentage late fees. It says that payments will eventually result in people losing access to the buy now, pay later option. Taking a look at your KFI financial update brought to you by Rabbi and Myers. The Dow is up 238, S&P is up 43, NASDAQ up 162, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $4.83. Don't wait. Maximize your compensation after an accident. Call Jacoby and Myers now. Justice for you since 1972. SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a great day ahead with rain tapering off later this afternoon. Looks like more rain will come in later tonight into tomorrow morning. The night will stay drifting upper 50s to lower 60s. Or should dry out by the weekend. Right now it's 49 in Laguna Hills, 47 in Orange. Let's get a look at your drive with DKFI in the sky, and this time we're seeing what's happening on the 110.
South LA, headed northbound right next to Position Boulevard. Crashing with two right lanes there. You're going to be on the brake starting at about the 105. Like I've been saying, pretty much double your drive time to work today. The roads are wet. Traffic is slow almost everywhere, including Corona. 91 westbound to Green River, crashing the west shoulder, causing delays back to Indian Avenue. A reminder, we have a full closure of the 101 freeway north of Santa Barbara. So if you're heading into Northern California, 5 man the grapevine. That's your way to go right now. The 101 is not the way to go. So let you know when that changes. And our own passage in this state, in this city, we've got a crash 10 freeway eastbound at Robertson. It's slow from 20th Street and head out to Santa Monica. And that earlier problem in the parking clear 110 freeway southbound at Fordham Lane. KFI in the sky. There's Baxter. I'm Will Colstrap. This hour is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Want to go places? Visit Smart Stores. We learn about the value of local resources in uncertain times. From Allison Richards, Head of Marketing at State Farm.
The economy is tough for everyone, and taking a step out and understanding the pain that your customers are currently going through because of the tough environment is really important. We have 19,000 agents across the country, and they understand what's going on in those very unique communities. iHeart has such a broad broadcast reach that is local, connected, and for us to be able to touch customers with a local feel at a national scale is so efficient and important for us.
It's the #1 audio company. iHeart News gives marketers access to all. Every artist, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeart Media is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
I get it, flip it, cup it, check it twice a day.
I get it. Flip it, cup it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, flip it, cup it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps.
It starts with a monitor. Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talk with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down. Yeah, this time to stop it down.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageability.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association. In partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
More stimulating talk.
Whatever it is you're doing,
I told you those fucking dirty takeoff. Oh, that's a classic word. I can't believe there's a universe. I wouldn't know that my dad had a water buffalo named Gary Huffman.
Yeah, that my mom had a friend who
Shannon Barrett. I feel like this is playing with kids still. Gary and Shannon. I am having fun. Gary and Shannon, KFI AM 645 everywhere on the iHeartRadio app on a Wednesday, it's March 29th, baseball season. If you want to call it opening day, it's tomorrow. The Dodgers opening night is tomorrow night. Well, my team that I need to play today. So we'll talk a little bit more expected tomorrow. We'll talk more about it. Shannon's out today. If you were listening to yesterday, you felt his little congestion. So get over it. He's good at that. But the weighted blanket looking in heavy rotation, I should say. I can imagine. To be honest, I'm angry about this may be hangover from school shooting cover stuff, but I'm angry about the way this is going. I'm angry about the way we are all throwing around some of the issues regarding the shooting in Nashville. 3 adults, 3 9-year-olds killed by a shooter who was then eventually taken out by a couple of very heroic police officers. And as I was reading through, I wanted to start the show today by talking about the 2 police officers. Thankfully, they're okay, and they're going to be able to hear the accolades that they receive. Very well deserved. I'm not saying that it's going to make it any easier. I mean, they were a couple of the officers who were first on scene and saw the destruction and saw the impact of one person completely unhinged, finger quote, solution to whatever problems he was having at the time. But one of the reasons I wanted to concentrate on these officers was because of what we've been distracted by, which is that this 28-year-old shooter was transgender. CBS News, a once lofty, respected organization, CBS News yesterday put out a tweet that said, yesterday morning, police identified as the 28-year-old who they shot and killed with Steve. CBS News is still working to confirm Hale's gender identity. And as much as I have said repeatedly, over and over again, I absolutely respect your right to choose whichever pronoun. I'll do what I can to use the correct pronoun. It's a matter of respect from me and you as a human being. But in terms of your overall civil rights, and I'm not going to bend over backwards to confirm anybody's gender identity if they kill 6 other people. That's just not what's important to me. My mother used to say, always look to the helper. Because if you look to the helper, you'll know that there's hope. So there are more helpers than I expected. And that's why I'm a little bit frustrated by all of it. Obviously, we have a couple of officers. 31-year-old Michael Collazo, 27-year-old Rex Engelbert, both of them National Metro PD, hailed as heroes. Michael Collazo, 31 years old, Marine Corps veteran, he responded to the Christmas bombing from back in 2020 there in downtown Nashville. I was there last week. I saw the rebuilding that continues today as a result of that Christmas bombing. Collazo also worked as a firefighter. He was a SWAT team paramedic, or is. And then Rex Engelbert, young guy, 27, younger, 4 years on the force, I believe. He received an award last week for precision policing for his work recovering more than 20 stolen credit cards, a handgun, a fentanyl. Deanne Collazo the Heart is Michael Collazo's sister. And he was interviewed and said he really does love his job. When I sit and think about all the training and all the different classes that he does and all the family events that he had to miss to get the training or leaving to go through this training with his class, it all really does pay off. And Deanna said of her brother, he's obviously very brave, braver than I ever imagined. To see the bravery of all of them, the storming and clearing the room, was absolutely phenomenal. Didn't you feel that when you saw that video? The people who I've seen react to that video are all amazed at the calm nature of it. So you even mentioned that the fact that the officer responding to an active shooter situation at a church/school has enough wherewithal to address the woman in the front of that school with yes ma'am, yes ma'am. That was the first thing that caught me. Maybe it's a Tennessee thing, but whatever. And that he remained calm in the face of the potential for tragedy that he was about to unlock that door and walk into. Now, at the time, it's like unwavering. Right. And at the time, you couldn't hear gunshots. There were no gunshots at that moment. But when you did hear the gunshots, they didn't hesitate to go towards the gunshot. The 27-year-old, right, teenager, obviously of those officers who were on the scene, was right alongside, was right there with Michael Collazo to take down the shooter. There's a couple other people also. Catherine Coote, the headmistress of Covenant School, was credited with running towards the firing, towards the sounds of shots being fired. And one of the 9-year-olds was believed to have been killed while trying to pull the fire alarm. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, the chief of Metro Nashville Police Department, John Drake, one of the just absolute stalwarts of this incident, was interviewed just before the show started. And once again, a reason to be pissed off at the way that this story is being covered. I'll explain to you. The reporter from CNN asked an absolutely ludicrous question, and Chief Drake kept it cool. So I'll play that for you when we come back. Gary and Shannon will continue. Jennifer Jones Williams live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
President Biden that there will be a moral price to pay for inaction on guns. The CEO of Starbucks is on Capitol Hill this morning. Howard Schultz is answering accusations about his company trying to stop unions from forming at stores across the country. And there's an X-Files reboot in the works. The original series creator, Chris Carter, said Black Panther director Ryan Coogler is reworking the sci-fi series. We'll get a look at your drive with DJFI and the 10 in just a moment.
Hey, sneaky little pro tip here. Also in that today. Because look, it's raining outside. Nobody's thinking about how they're generating solar power today. I mean, you are a little bit, but SolarMax technology came out clearly the best when I was researching solar systems when I moved into the house about 7 years ago. SolarMax has the most innovative technology. They came in, built us a custom solar system using the highest quality solar panels, incredible inverters and battery systems. They're the best in the industry, hands down. And springtime is a great time to go solar because cooler temperatures, a lot of sunshine, you get more electrical production in the spring. So call SolarMax, get a 12-panel system for $0 down, $59.99 a month. Zero powerful solar panels on the market. And you want to lock in the NEM 2.0 benefits, Net Energy Metering Benefit, by April 13th. So call SolarMax, start saving money this spring. 12-panel system for $0 down, $59.99 a month. So call by dialing pound 250 on your cell phone, take it to your SolarMax, pound 250, SolarMax, or go to solarmaxtech.com. Approved price CSLB number 9
So now weather from KFI. Looks like we've got rainy conditions throughout the rest of the day, off and on with highs in the upper 50s to lower 60s. This report is brought to you by California Solar and Storage Association. Let's get a look at your drive with KFI in the sky. This time we're checking the sun.
Really, you just enter freeway eastbound. A lot of people of our tracks there on the right shoulder. Causing some delays on the eastbound side, getting away from 20th Street there in Santa Monica. That's the west South LA crashed on the 110 freeway northbound of Exposition. Two right lanes are blocked there. Traffic at a standstill back from the 105. And New Riverside crashed on the 91 westbound of Las Sierras in lanes. Traffic slowed back from Tyler Street. KFI Moscato get you there faster. I'm Blue Full Driver.
This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. It's steak night at Whole Foods Market. Animal welfare certified top sirloin beef steaks and roasts are just $7.99 per pound with prime through April 4th. Turn on the burners and stick with the sizzle while supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply.
People Print and Marketing Services help small business print big. Now get $15 off signs, banners, and posters when you spend $75 or more. Offer ends 4/15. Visit Staples.com/printbig for details. This is your time to try Staples, where prints are perfect, guaranteed.
Many Californians are going solar now to take advantage of government incentives. If you are planning to install solar, don't forget basic steps like getting multiple bids and only working with licensed contractors. Go to calssa.org for more tips to protect your solar investment.
Taking greetings to a family of service staff in plumbing, heaters, and AC with another good deed for free. Our technician Thomas was quick to train their master formula cleanup recently for an elderly woman. He said she'd been waiting eagerly for him to show up, but she heard on the radio that we could good deeds for free. She had a broken tongue. She explained that her husband had recently passed away, and that he had always solved those kinds of problems. Thomas and Matt fixed up cleaner, lifted his foot, and got their cleanup done as well. Happy will thank them for his foot. He said she was so grateful for a company that does good deeds for free. For a sharp person. When you do a good deed for you too, give us a call. Service staff, plumbing, heaters, good food, and good deeds for free.
Where are you? People play golf. I don't know. I think they play golf. Do you know anybody at 30 who had any concept of what they were doing when they were 60?
They started talking to me about how nice it will be to live in a retirement community and maybe play golf. And I just want to ride the little golf cart around.
They're 35 or 60. Gone and again.
Everybody I knew at 30 hadn't even figured out what they were doing in their 30s.
Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Everywhere on the iHeartRadio. Now we'll talk about a nice little storm that we're in the middle of. Mammoth Mountain announced that it expects to stay open into July this year because of the amount of snowfall. Now, before this storm, the main lodge at Mammoth Mountain had received 634 inches of snow, and they're expected to get another 20 inches. Big Bear also, half buried, of course, so they will be extending their season by at least 3 weeks, at least through April 30th. Probably going to last much longer than that. Bear Mountain Snow Summit skiing and boarding areas, they have between 75 and 100 inches of snow. That was as of Monday morning, and they reported 210 inches so far this season. Huge step, we hope, in terms of fighting back against opioid overdoses. Narcan, the prescription nasal spray, can now be sold over the counter, according to the FDA. Now, they have authorized this move that a lot of public health officials, a lot of treatment experts have been asking for some time. And by late summer, you can buy over-the-counter in the locker room Narcan, or in big box chains, there'll be vending machines, supermarkets, convenience stores, gas stations, even online, you'll be able to get them. So we'll talk more about a lot of that. A COVID update, which we haven't done in a very long time. The World Health Organization has revised its COVID vaccine recommendations and suggests at this time healthy children and adolescents probably don't need a vaccine. They finally released this guidance just yesterday. The Global Health Agency said that healthy kids and adolescents are absolute low priority when it comes to COVID vaccines. The public health impact of vaccinating healthy children and adolescents is much lower than the established benefit of traditional potential vaccines like measles and polio. The other story you may have heard traffic there, we were talking about the 101 freeway up north of Santa Barbara, right in the Gaviota Pass, as you make that sweeping right turn as you head north. 8 people had to be taken to a hospital, or hospitals, I should say, because of a major injury crash. And then a couple of the firefighters who responded to the original crash got hit by a car. So they're okay. They're awake and they're in the hospital. But that's why the 101 freeway north of Santa Barbara is completely shut down at this point. All right. The story out of the Nashville church shooting, church and school shooting. You know, my mother used to say, always look for the helper. Because if you look for the helper, you'll know that there's hope. The Metro Nashville police officers who stepped into action and eventually neutralized the shooter. Rex Engelbert, four-year Nashville veteran, and Officer Michael Palazzo, 9-year veteran of the police department, are being honored by the Uvalde Foundation for Kids, formed in response to that shooting. They said that it was textbook, their reaction, that heroic action by officers to save more students. The foundation's founder even said in a media release, these officers did what they failed to do in Uvalde. These officers did what they failed to do in Columbine. From the moment they arrived on scene, officers wasted no time and executed perfectly within the 14 minutes. I mentioned also Dr. Catherine Kuntz, one of the adults who was killed, who's the head mistress, was the head mistress of public schools. I don't know if there's a way to tell unless we do get inside surveillance camera footage of this, but people who knew Dr. Kuntz said they are convinced that in order to protect their kids, when the shooting started, he went towards the shooting. It's one of her former students talking about what Dr. Kuntz meant to him.
When I was in second grade and going from at the covenant school, we used to buy chocolate and masters happy for stories in the past. At the end of the day, what we want more than anything is for families and children to be connected. No matter the topic, to the very to get an educator's perspective. Our motto is to be known, to be loved, to be prepared. Because we feel like they go together. Before she was a covenant, Catherine worked at Christ Presbyterian Academy.
I've said a lot of times where I felt like giving up and it's a serious fight for us.
Then her PTA student died.
He was very much a big gift for his kids. He fought for all of them. Oftentimes after we quit fighting for ourselves.
Helping those like Barrett left a lasting impact.
Graduating is important. Opportunities are important. And students, and again, I'm representing a lot of people that when I say she pulled us across the finish line oftentimes after we quit.
We're now returning to the positive memory.
Her personality was as bright as the colors that she would wear in that outfit.
And we know her legacy as an educator would be long lasting.
Not only was she a true servant of people, but certainly full of life and had a lot more to give.
Ross Pulley is a member of the Nashville City Council and a former FBI agent, actually, and tweeted out yesterday, "It's been a tough day here in Nashville. My thoughts and prayers to the families who lost loved ones. I'm grateful for the heroic efforts of the school staff and our police department." Ross Pulley says that he was told that Dr. Cruz was on a Zoom call right at about 10 o'clock when the shooting started, and jumped up from her chair and ran towards the attacker. He was eventually one of the 3 adults that was killed, and then the 3 9-year-olds that were also killed. One of them was, and this is the part I didn't find until this morning, Evelyn Dukehouse, Alex Drugs and William Kenny were the 9-year-olds. Evelyn is being called a hero because, according to people who have been talking to the police, he was shot while he was trying to pull a fire alarm to protect others. The 9-year-old was trying to pull the fire alarm to protect the other people in the class. He was described as a shining light. Family reveals that they are completely broken by their daughter's death. The family of Evelyn Dukehouse did a statement that said, "Our hearts are completely broken. We cannot believe this has happened. We appreciate all the love and the support, but we ask for space as we grieve." Now, there I'll get to a little round to get some break here. I mentioned that Chief John Drake of Metropolitan National Police Department did another interview this morning and has been sort of the stoic figure in terms of representing law enforcement there in Nashville as he should, and has been able to keep his calm and cool despite some pretty stupid questions. One of them came from a CNN reporter this morning about the timing of all of this, or I should say, he ignored the timing of all of this and suggested maybe that police had dropped the ball by not taking weapons away from the shooter. I'll explain, and I'll let you listen to the questions yourself when we come back. Jerry and Sammy will continue. Jennifer Jones was live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
A car carrying 3 teenagers overturning Corona, killing a passenger. The driver and another passenger were hurt in the crash yesterday at El Sobrante Road and City Center Drive. Circle City Drive, that is. Corona police say the driver and 2 passengers were 16 and 17 years old. News was brought to you by Jacoby and Myers. People who live in Altadena have called for some street art on the side of a coffee shop to be taken down. The mural was okayed by unincorporated coffee roasters on Lake Avenue. This woman says that the image was supposed to create conversation in the community. There should have been scheduled meetings to talk about it.
You know, there was no conversation before the painting went up. There's really been no conversation except for us asking him, could he think about how this is viewed by the community?
The mural shows black figures appearing to fight with sharp objects, silent depictions of society. A station room so people can weigh in on the design before the hospital is actually finished. It's no sense things that good on paper, but when you actually go to the building, you go, oh, who's all of that?
City of Hope Ocean President Annette Walker says the hospital will join the recently opened high-tech cancer center as part of a $1.5 billion cancer campus.
The mock design is intended to give a very realistic 3D experience of the space.
Agent Heidi Malone says for her it's all about how the hospital connects with nature.
The beauty of what they're trying to get here is going to help a lot of patients, not only physically heal, but also emotionally.
The hospital set to be complete in 2025. In Irvine, Corbin Carson, KFI.
Cracker Barrel has become the latest company to leave Portland because of rising crime and retail theft in Oregon. Walmart announced earlier this month it was closing all of its stores in Portland, woolly mammoth, and genetic data from its closest living relative, the African elephant, to fill in any missing parts of the sequence. It's cultivated meat made from animal cells that doesn't require any animals to kill to make it. It has not been tasted even by its creators, and there are no plans to put it into commercial production, at least not for now. More than 100 companies around the world are working on cultivating these products. Lee King, KFI News, SoCal weather from KFI. We've got more rain and wind on the way today. It should taper off later this afternoon. The highs are going to be in the upper 50s to low to mid 60s. Then it looks like there's another chance of rain stay dry for the most of the weekend. 48 right now in Rancho Santa Margarita, 52 in Garden Grove. Let's take a look at your drive with DKFI in the sky. This has been a tough spot all morning, the 101.
North of Santa Barbara, north of Goleta there, the 101 freeway after it makes the turn from the coast and goes up that steep grade. Now, we had reports early on there was some flooding and some mud debris in the roadway. There was also a very bad crack early this morning in the 5 a.m. hour. It's looking like the northbound side may be open. Looking at our Caltrans map here, it looks like traffic may be getting through on the northbound side. Southbound side still closed though from Highway 246 on down to the Las Cruces area. So then keep an eye on that and update it as soon as we get more information. Meanwhile, South LA crashed on the 110 freeway northbound in Texas position. Accepting slow from the 105. And you know what? It's really slow from an earlier problem in Costa Mesa. 405 southbound before Harbor Boulevard. That wreck is lane slow for about a quarter of a mile as you approach. KFI in the sky helps you get to there faster. I'm a cold driver. If you're looking to sell your home, you call Seller's Advantage, and they'll make you a cash offer with no need for repair. With Seller's Advantage, there are no agents. They can close these deals and they buy it cash. And they offer a $10,000 advance to help with moving. Check out their reviews online and call for no obligation offering. 888-321-ADVANCE. 888-321-ADVANCE. 888-321-2747 and visit sellersadvantage.com. Don't worry, just happy. We're Seller's Advantage. Area number 0961658. When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal fee. At the place of business, it's safe for you to shop here. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to head up this tree.
Why is he way up there and scared to come down?
And I'll get him to you.
Be careful, mister.
Thanks, kid. Here you go.
Where did you come from? And where is he now? In case.
What? Oh, no, your mom and dad called us to...
Really?
Your dream was really clogged. Backing up. And we have to stop that nasty stuff from invading your bathroom.
So you're a hero?
Try to be every day. We're rooter heroes.
Wow.
We make sure you live in a safe, clean house. Go on.
Thanks for rescuing doors.
It's what a hero does.
If you have a clogged thing, call Zero Hero coming in air. Go online at ViralRabbi.com.
Follow us now. Find PM 640. Everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Santa's out today. It's not feeling well. You could hear it yesterday, right? But we'll get over it. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. But speaking of which, we're going to have to keep an eye on her for potential heart attack. According to new research out of the Netherlands, you are 6 times more likely to suffer a heart attack the week after having the flu than in the entire year before or after the illness. New studies, 26,000 persons from across the Netherlands demonstrate an increased risk of attack after you suffer the flu. And they said the virus, once you get the flu, it increases what they refer to as the stickiness of your blood, along with inflammation that can weaken the fatty plaques in the arteries, cause a clot. There you go, myocardial infarction. Boom. A little bit later, we're going to talk about what's going on with artificial intelligence, because now some of the smartest people in the world are saying, hey, might be a good idea to kind of pump the brakes on this artificial intelligence thing before we all die. You know, super positive. Jeremy Renner is speaking for the first time, by the way. He has an event scheduled next month to kick off a new show. I think it's on Disney Plus. But he did give an interview with ABC for the first time since his stroke accident. They broke, if I'm not mistaken, 30 bones in his body, all because he was trying to help his nephew get unstuck from a snowed out driveway. We'll talk about that. We've been talking about what's going on in the aftermath of the shooting in Nashville that killed 3 adults and 3 kids at that church school just southwest of downtown Nashville. And the importance of honoring those people who are the heroes, not just the officers who were involved in eventually taking down the shooter, but their names, of course, Rex Engelberg and Michael Palazzo, and the head mistress, the principal of the school, Dr. Catherine Kuhn, who, according to at least one city council member there in Nashville, heard the shooting and ran towards it while it was going on. And then 9-year-old Evelyn Viethouse was believed to have been trying to pull the fire alarm to warn other students in the school when she was shot and killed. 9. The chief of the Metro Nashville Police Department, John Drake, has been that show a character in all of it. And in an interview this morning, gave just a few more details about what we know about the shooter. That the belief of the parents, she's 28, she's living at home, the belief of the parents was that she had one weapon. And when they told her that they weren't comfortable with her having it, she sold it. Little did they know there were at least 6, 7 other guns that she had purchased recently over the course of 5 different stores and was hiding them in her home. And he relayed that message to CNN this morning when he was on, discussing what actually happened the morning.
She left with what we were told the red bag. The mom confronted her about what was in the bag, and she just kind of played it off. Hey, you just see mom, everything's okay, something to that nature. No quote on that. And so she left with this bag. She never looked inside. I firmly believe, from what the detectives have said, that the parents felt like there was one weapon in the house, and she sold it, and she didn't have any more. Until we could find out differently, didn't have to deal with it. And they felt pretty strongly about that.
Okay, so we know that in Tennessee they don't have red flag laws like we do, which would allow a family member, coworker, judge, somebody to lodge a concern. I'm going to keep it generic here, so don't step on anybody. To lodge a concern about someone's health or well-being, about their propensity for violence, it would allow a judge to adjudicate whether or not weapons need to be taken away from someone. In Tennessee, they don't have a law like have indications that the person is a danger to themselves or others and has apparently explicitly expressed that and said, I'm going to do something, I'm going to kill somebody. Yesterday we told you about Averiana Patton, who he had received an Instagram direct message from the shooter earlier on Monday.
So at home, I received the Instagram DM, and when I initially saw it, I'm like, I'm still working. I'm still, like, not really, understanding what's happening right now.
Now, this would have been just before 10 o'clock Nashville time, just before the shooting happened. The messages said things like, you're going to hear about me, I can't live anymore, threatening something generic was going to happen and that she was probably going to die that day. Averiana Patton did what she did. She contacted her own father, and her dad's like, yeah, you got to tell somebody. She calls the suicide prevention hotline. They say, we can't do anything unless that person calls us. You should call the local cops. All of this going on literally while the shooting is taking place. So, when CNN interviewed the chief earlier today, the reporter actually asked about that. Was the ball dropped in any way?
You said, had it been reported that she was suicidal or that she was going to kill someone, and it was made known to us, then we would have tried to get those weapons. And with all due respect, it was reported though, right? I mean, we spoke with Avery and Patton here on CNN. We said on the day of the shooting, the minutes before, this woman got a message from Audrey Hale, a former middle school teammate, basketball teammate, that she was going to die, that she was going to do something bad. She made several calls. I think one was to a therapist, suicide prevention line. Do you think the ball was dropped there?
No, I don't think any ball was dropped. I'm aware that this person has said they contacted the sheriff, and they contacted the Department of Communications, but what I can say is that the moment we got the call, we responded immediately to the scene. Officers pulled up, the taking gunfire.
What's amazing to me is that the chief did not fire back at the reporter for asking a question like that. Because remember, direct messages are timestamped at 9:57. The call from the school to 911 was at 10:13. So there's a great chance that the shooter was in the parking lot at the school when she sent the message to her friend. That by the time Averiana Patton contacts her father, and then the suicide prevention hotline, questions would have been asked. That somehow the Nashville Police Department, or that the law in the state of Tennessee, allowed this woman to do what she did. That's ridiculous. There's no way on God's green earth that a law enforcement agency is going to be able to find an individual like that. Because right, she didn't say her location. I'm at home. I'm going to go to this church. I'm going to go to this school. None of that stuff. Very vague information about something bad that was about to happen, etc. We have to be careful how we cover stories like this. We have to be. And this reporter, by the way, this isn't somebody sitting behind a desk in New York. This reporter was on the ground in Nashville just yesterday. She was in the studio today. I don't know if she's still in Nashville or if she's back in D.C. or Georgia, wherever she is. She should know question was as painful as it probably was for Chief Drake who heard that question, he handled it pretty well. So we'll talk about a little bit more about we get into Swamp Watch in terms of lawmakers and what their reactions have been to all of this. But coming back, why artificial intelligence might want to be, want to pull the plug and do this. Because I know that that's not how it works. I saw Avengers like everybody else did, and I understand how artificial intelligence can eventually be. Of course, I call that meant to become a human, but not human. But with its beautiful promise. I never saw that in my life. I love parts of me. I'm un-American. That and the part I don't love. I'm giving you to that. I've never seen Forrest Gump. Because if one more person does the Jenny thing, I'm boycotting it. That's what you I don't want to go see it because I don't want to know why everybody keeps doing that. The funny, here's the scenario in my head. You're in line, you have a ticket, because that's back in the days when I actually had tickets for movie theater. You have a ticket, you're waiting in line to see Forrest Gump, and somebody walks out and they go, "Hey, Jenny." And you just whip your ticket up and you say, "I've never seen that movie." Gary Shannon will continue. Jennifer Jones Lee is live in the KFI 24-hour news. The Vatican says Pope Francis has gone to a hospital in Rome for some planned medical tests. A citywide candlelight vigil is set for tonight in Nashville after the school shooting. No less than 3 kids and 3 adults dead. And Friendbox has come up with a 20,000 square foot bounce park at Parkway Plaza, so you can get your jump on Friday. In addition, it will offer a 23-foot slide, toddler pit, battle beam, and a ninja wall. Forgive. Shows out weather from KFI. It's a great day ahead with showers off and on all day, high from the upper 50s to low to mid 60s. This report is brought to you by Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Let's get a look at that drive with DKFI in the sky. Back to North Carolina team. Even though lanes are clear in mid-city, you're right on Robertson, really like off on Halloween's off of the freeway, but you're still in equivalent drive heading east on the 10. Then you busy from before Los Angeles Boulevard, and it will remain busy for you heading east to downtown. On the 60 eastbound, west on side of the 10, coming off the 60 leading right now. Still going for you downtown to West LA, as you make way 12 to 405 in fact, the 60 itself. Still going for you to come away from Industry Hoppy and High Street and Hoppy the Boulevard, when you're onto the 10 west end, along the freeway. Say what's in the Medino Freeway and also the 60 westbound. That'll be busy for you drive as well. But there's the Avenue as you continue towards downtown LA and the 101. Hey, to find the sky helps get there faster, I'm Miss Collier. This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Easter's Blue at Whole Foods Market, with hundreds of deals and delights now through April 11th. Visit your local store to shop for premium meats, newsworthy sides, and more. In this Chief Marketing Report, Christy Australia letter, Global Chief Marketing Officer, Director Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on the difficult task of building and retaining consumer trust. Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the owner and talent. The best thing for us to do is to build a relationship with our consumers. And if those consumers have a relationship with the DJs that are on air, then we want to build on that. The House of the Dragon, which is one of our most successful, the most successful campaign we've ever done for the show, audio is of course part of that. It's the #1 audio company. iHeartMedia gives marketing access to all. Every audio, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access company. Go to iHeartResults.com for more. At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 38,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding across country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit Uline.com. So when it's over, it's time to party. You get on the rock and rock in concert. Dancing the night you will never forget. Yalva Theater, Friday, June 30th. Get tickets at YalvaTheater.com. There's a box office. USA is ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with retail
retail banking in California by J.D. Power. Since California has earned the most awards there, please prepare to thank you soon.
To Californians everywhere, we've been proud to help you plan, budget, and save smarter. Our goal tracking and budgeting tools would have no place to shine if it weren't for you, and we can't thank you enough for that. And thank you to our real-life humans who go above and beyond for our customers every day.
For J.D. Power 2022 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Number FDIC.
Attention accredited investors. With some banks failing and the market trending in the wrong direction, the need to hedge against inflation and invest your money in proven high return assets is now. First National Realty Partners has historic returns of 15% IRR from their $1.5 billion in commercial real estate assets. Their relationships with national brands like Walmart, Whole Foods, Publix, and more gives them the advantage over any other real estate investment opportunity. Be smart and invest your money in grocery anchored commercial real estate with historic returns of 15% IRR. Call them at 888-301-9010. That's 888-301-9010. Or go to snrpradio.com. That's snrpradio.com. You'll enjoy all the benefits of fully passive real estate ownership. Get in on the current deals while they're available. Call 888-301-9010 or go to snrpradio.com now. Securities are only available to verified accredited investors. Investors are subject to risk, including loss of principal. Tax distributions are not guaranteed. Any representation for investor stability reflects SNRP strategy and may or may not be realized. Visit snrpradio.com.
Not an old or unused car sitting of space? Turn it into a valuable tax deduction with a simple donation to Cars for Kids. With over 100 sellers ready to pick up your car in any condition, Cars for Kids makes donating your vehicle a breeze. No wonder they have a 4.9 rating on Trustpilot. Let Cars for Kids do the work for you. Just fill out a quick form at carsforkids.org and someone will reach out to arrange for your pickup, sometimes as soon as the next day. Think about the hassle of selling, and hello, it's a quick, convenient pickup with a maximum tax deduction. Donate your car today by calling 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or carsforkids.org. Usually air conditioning on a hot summer day can go 20 all night, and no one wants that. Help your air conditioner last longer and reduce breakdowns with a rejuvenation.
Money, this critical adjustment so you'll stay cool, leave less energy, and increase the life of your system.
We'll clean the outdoor corners the right way, not the easy way.
Rejuvenated, just $129.
Dell Air Conditioning and Plumbing. DealWeekCTO.com. We'll keep you cool, but it's hard to sell. 1047, 781.
No one has the same taste as you.
From the music you love to the podcast, you can't live without.
And only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
This is ranch dressing flavor on your thing.
For the people that couldn't secure radical diabetes and just a dip, ranch is the caviar of the valley.
What valley?
All valleys. All Catholic is freaking cuddling to yourself.
Montana, San Fernando Valley.
It's the caviar. Live 4 to 7 p.m. on KMI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. More on our storm coming up after the top of the hour. We expect some showers off and on through the day today, into tonight, probably into the beginning of tomorrow before things move out. But then you do not want to be in Northern California. The image of the low pressure system that was off the coast of San Francisco was terrifying. And it was really the first. We keep using the bomb cyclone and the atmospheric river and all those kinds of terms for what this is. That's probably the strongest storm that I've seen hit San Francisco at some time. And that's on top of everything we've seen over the last 3 months. Highway 101, as we mentioned earlier, is closed above Santa Barbara in the Gavio Pass area. There was a car crash this morning, and then a couple of the fire in the way that it seems to be progressing very quickly, uncomfortably. Government should step in and institute a moratorium. Elon Musk signed on to this. He's a big deal because he helped found the maker of GPT-4. It's called OpenAI before he eventually broke with the company a few years ago. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak
was a Muppet in real life. But and then Skype co-founder Jan Palin. More to the point, they include some of Stuart Russell, one of the lead researchers at Berkeley Center for Human Compatible AI. Now, all of this is terrifying. Victoria Krakovna, a researcher at TRUMAN. These are the people who are most intimately knowledgeable about what artificial intelligence is and what it might be able to do, because we don't know. They are warning that society is not ready for these increasingly advanced systems that labs are trying to get out there. Now, if you played with the GPT-3, GPT-4, whatever, if you played with DALL-E and Stable Diffusion, and if you goofed around with these things, it's like when the original, I mean, listen, here, the Apple thing on your phone is her name, and your Alexa that's in your bathroom, wherever it is. These are sort of the dumbest versions of what is artificial intelligence. You can ask a question, you can get kind of creative, but even it runs up against the wall. They can't find anything specifically to answer your question, so they'll offer you, well, here's some links that I found. Well, I can do that. When you ask the question of ChatGPT, something along the lines, we did this last week, write a talk radio segment about seasonal affective disorder in the style of the Gary and Shannon show. And it didn't nail it. I mean, it didn't come anywhere close to the snark and the sarcasm that Shannon has. But it was close enough that it's a little tense. And it Shannon started messing around with it. Neither one of us ever put our last names in there. And when she started messing around with it, like, I think it was a very simple question, like, what is the Gary and Shannon show? He gave a description of our show that included our last name. And it's not hard to find them online, but it's uncomfortable when the computer is as familiar with you as it was. Now, it's probably inevitable, right? Because of the profit, because of the prestige incentives when it comes to the technology industry, it's a better artificial intelligence engine to potentially do more harm to others in an attempt to sort of get to the top of the world. What means is the true challenge right now, the changing the incentive structure that drives all of us. Why would we be doing it? Is it to make us healthier, better, safer? Yeah, maybe. But can you guarantee that that's where it ends? I know that artificial intelligence doesn't exist without human programming, but there is an inflection point. There is some time when that thing, I hope it's science fiction, but I don't know if it is or not, when it becomes self-aware. I just think they've been around when we were in school. So I asked my daughter about that, actually. She said a lot of people in college are using it. A lot. I would have. But would you have done it to, like, write an entire paper for you, or just... Oh, you would. I guess it was cheap, though, right? I mean, we could get away with a lot of stuff. We got to college before that. High school before that. I mean, we're really selling it in higher education family. In fact, tomorrow's show is all ChatGPT. What do you think? 4 hours. It was trash. You're not terrifying. All right, all of our storm stuff, good, great news, as a matter of fact, in key areas. Bad news in terms of trying to get around over the next day. So that's all coming up on the Gary Show. Congratulations to you, Gregory, earning 2 more Golden Mike Awards for your collection. Thanks, Dad. I'm Jennifer Jones Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A task force weighing reparations for Black Californians is set to discuss the price of the program. KFI's Blake Foley reports live. Economists say the payments could cost the state $800 billion. The task force can either adopt that price or come up with its own proposal. $800 billion is more than 2.5 times California's annual $300 billion budget. Public comment has begun today in today's meeting. It was going to be 2 days of this task force discussing reparations and that price tag. The first caller to dial in voiced his support. Under
a minimum. We can also do pro-rated lifetime payments, even the average GDP life expectancy is 75 years.
Advocates for the payments say the money is used to address long-lasting harm Black Californians have endured. Critics say current taxpayers shouldn't be responsible for damage linked to events from the past. The task force needs to settle on a final cost June, however, as it uses July 1st deadline to make its recommendations to state leaders. Lawmakers and the governor will have final say-so in official reparations action. Reporting live, Blake Foley, KFI News.
City leaders gave San Clemente a philosophic decision on how to respond to what residents are calling a homeless crisis at Northeast. Councilmember Dean James called for a special meeting suggesting the city hire gatekeeper security services to police the city's beaches and help them make sure that homeless people don't camp there. James said Monday it's about the safety of families. The city council voted to delay any private security in a 3-2 vote as it decided to give the city staff time to look into the issue. A mining company with a 132-acre site south of Corona has asked Riverside to consider its application of vested rights, which would expand the surface mining operation by nearly 800 acres. Planning staff are recommending the board deny the application. People who live in the area have complained of explosions several times a week, damage to their homes, and disturbance of their peace. New trails have been opened in the Saddleback Wilderness during the special access event hosted by OC Park System. Officials said Monday it's a 3.3-mile trail system that's in addition to the OC Park Irvine Range open space that was donated to the county in 2014. The Russian military has started drills of its strategic missile forces in a show of the country's massive nuclear capabilities. Russia's defense ministry says mobile missile launchers will maneuver across 3 regions of Siberia as part of the drill. China has threatened resolute countermeasures over a planned meeting between Taiwan's president and the U.S. House Speaker during its upcoming trip through L.A.
U.S. officials always call the Taiwanese president's trip to the U.S. a transit. This doesn't want to anger mainland China since this is U.S. policy still only recognizes the Chinese government in Beijing and not Taiwan.
The deal says Taiwan's president will stop in New York on her way to Central America and then LA on her way back. And all aboard, the Queen Mary is now accepting reservations for overnight stays since closing during the pandemic. The ship will reopen its doors to guests who can stay in its historic vintage staterooms once again. The docked vessel was shut down for COVID and for critical restoration. The Donovan President Queen Mary says she hopes the ship brings back all of its features. Yes, she went there for one evening, which I was not aware that they did that, but it is something that we tested out and loved it, and I hope they bring it back. The Queen Mary is open for tours this weekend, but the hotel portion of the trip won't be accessible until May 12th. Ticket and reservation information is available online at queenmary.com. In Long Beach, Chris Ashley, KFI News. SoCal weather from KFI. Looks like we've got rain today. Temperatures will be in the upper 50s to lower 60s. The rain should taper off this afternoon and push back up overnight into tomorrow. Then it looks like we should have a dry weekend. The KFI Financial Update is sponsored by Jacoby and Myers. The Dow is up 212. S&P is up 39, NASDAQ is up 139, and the average price of your compensation after an actual year drive with KFI in the sky and Lake Caliopini.
It's going to be a busy one for you as you make it through the, looks like the El Monte, right, on the east side of the 10. Before changing the avenues, Rosary Boulevard, West on 10, also looking busy for you. So from Pacific coming to Ball Park. As you make your way back toward about Alhambra and 710, even before all down, west on side of the 10 around 60 west on, looking slow going for your drive from Old Center to Parkway. Inspectors will make their on the 10 west game. Tomorrow, they were downtown and then again. 10 westbound and New Jersey 42 downtown to make way to New City and beyond to West Carolina 405. And then they're coming down 5 southbound through the Orange Crest 5 and 22 come together and back 5 southbound. All the way to South Orange trending for Framework Capistrano for going to your drive. And the return trip now much better for you out of San Juan Capistrano. Line north on New Jersey for you back toward the Orange Crest. If I'm the China kids that are faster, I'm the quality of the
Do you know what the 2 biggest problems are that people have with house plumbing? Think of that for a minute. You could probably write the list yourself. They don't tell me to say they will. They charge you more after the job than what they quoted to up front. And they don't fix the problem right the first time. You have to have that kind of motivation. At service champions, some plumbers are different. We'll be there in town, right when we say we'll be there. We'll give you a firm price in writing before we start. And all of our plumbing services are back for a money promise. It's simple. If you're not happy, we don't pay. For us, it's all about respect to you, our customers. Call Service Champions right now for all of your plumbing needs. Our number is 833-777-7777 or find us online at servicechampions.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.
Starting your watch selection for expanding. Check out Boss Watches for one of the largest and finest selection of pre-owned, modern, and vintage luxury watches. Rolex, Omega, Cartier, Tudor, they have them all. Buy, sell, trade. All orders get free overnight shipping. All watches independently certified authentic. Boss Watches, a leading online luxury timepiece marketplace for men and women, and now $200 off Google Trends. More than more time. More stimulating talk. Live everywhere on the radio app. Santa's out today. Something of a head cold. Not to disclose information, but you can hear it yesterday. She was a little stuffed up. So.
Yeah, I have had a head cold for about a week and a half now, and it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. I have a feeling Santa should be out for a while.
No! I mean, no.
I could fill in with some Raymond Joey's bad stuff.
Well, listen, Cody, you've already overstepped your bounds with dad jokes. Remember, if it's going to be on an airplane, it must be aviation themed. Southwest Airlines doesn't do aviation themed dad jokes.
When does it rain, money? When does it change in the weather?
Not even going to do the
Everything that it goes.
A national story is that Narcan has been approved by the FDA to be sold. We've been hoping that you get Narcan out and more available in the public. It should reduce our extremely high drug fatality rates because of opioid overdoses. They said by late summer, over-the-counter Narcan could be for sale in some of those big box chains, stores, the vending machines, and available online as well. The commissioner of the FDA said in a statement that the over-the-counter authorization is meant to address a dire public health need. China has once again vowed to fight back if the president of Taiwan meets Kevin McCarthy. President Tsai Ing-wen left today to come here to the United States. He's planning to travel to Central America as well to meet with some diplomatic allies before he's meeting with U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy here in California on the way back to Taiwan. Beijing warned that it was resolutely opposed to any meeting between the president and the speaker and vowed to make sure to take resolute measures to fight back if, in fact, it goes ahead. And then the other story about Capitol Hill, we'll get into it next hour when we get into Swamp Watch. And that is that the founder of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, who, I guess, rest easy that he had his performance in the Senate. He's testifying before the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee. And originally said he wasn't going to testify, but then decided he would book a flight to D.C. after Bernie Sanders threatened to hold a vote to subpoena him. Howard Schultz stepped down as his role as Starbucks CEO last week after the reins over to Lakshman Narasimhan. And we told you before that Lakshman Narasimhan is the one who's going to be sort of the undercover boss, his coffee grinding skills, the cupcake. Well, the storm has arrived, this latest storm that has come come through, started yesterday up in Northern California, continues to rain pretty significantly. Can you share with me a picture of Shasta Dam? What is that? 8 inches of snow maybe there at the base of Shasta Dam. It's pretty incredible. And that's on top of all of the other. We are only expecting to see maybe an inch, maybe a little bit more than that by the time everything rolls through later tomorrow. I believe that by this afternoon we're going to see a break, but we could see some scattered showers over the afternoon into the evening, and then the whole thing moves out for the most part tomorrow. The major storm band is, like I said, going to make its way through early this afternoon. There is some good news in all of it. I mean, obviously it's great for trying to get out of the drought that we've been in for so long. But Mammoth Mountain, for example, announced that it expects to stay open through July. Mammoth open through July is pretty incredible. Mammoth Mountain main lots, they said, received 634 inches of snow. Now, somebody called and said we should announce that in feet, just to bite ourselves. I don't want to have to do the math for you. You can have healthy math on the radio. Artificial intelligence. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I chose this profession, so we didn't have it. So 50 plus feet, how's that? Mammoth has received 50 plus feet of snow at their main lot, and they're expected to get somewhere between 1 and 1.5 feet of snow in this storm. Officials at Big Bear also half buried, of course, because of the snowfall. They said the day would be extending their ski season by at least 3 weeks. So Big Bear, Bear Mountain, and Phil Summit will be open at least through April 30th, and I would imagine it's going to go further than that, because on top of 210 inches of snow, about 18 feet of snow so far this season, they are in terms of our weather. Now, it may be too soon, or today may not be the right day, if you look at news that has emerged about fire retardant, and whether or not the U.S. Forest Service will use that pink fog check stuff anymore. I'll explain that lawsuit, what it might mean to the U.S. Forest Service.
Researchers during the case in Lancaster died food cameras were rolling yesterday when they opened the door while going nearly 50 miles an hour, bailed out and hit his head. The Senate is expected to pass bipartisan legislation to repeal the authorizations for the Gulf and Iraq wars. And Dolly Parton will be back for a second consecutive year as the host of the Academy of Country Music Awards, but this year she's bringing a new +1.
How about this? We'll just let the results speak for themselves. Some of the settlements won for injured victims by the attorneys at Sweet. Number one, $29 million won for a client hurt in a multiple vehicle accident. Number two, $11 million won for a client hurt in a trucking accident. And number one, $1 million for an accident. Number three, $1 million for a client hurt in a motorcycle accident. Sweet James wins for clients hurt in these types of cases 98% of the time. They settle more money in 1 year than most firms settle in their lifetime. So if you are hurt in an accident and results matter to you, call the attorneys at Sweet James. Pay nothing until they win. Now, I can't guarantee the outcome of any case, but it's important you have an experienced and successful law firm on your side. To get a free consultation, Sweet James. 800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200.
Just in the upper 50s to low to mid 60s. Look at your driver detailify in the side in the 91.
Going to be coming through driving this go around. It's Necklace in the Long Beach area, westbound side of the 710. Direct in middle lanes, updating drive for you to make your way along the 91. Looks like that's going to be a busy drive as they're coming away from the far back as Liquid Boulevard, and then it's going to be between the N32, 3rd Gardena, and the 110. You're also in the 105 westbound off. The 605 going to be passing pretty tight as you move towards Crenshaw Boulevard, so you'll definitely want to find the road Grand Avenue or Wanda Boulevard between those two. This recording sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Since 2010, Blindster has sold millions of cups of blind shades and shutters to satisfied customers across the country. With 20,000 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Custom blinds at low prices and free shipping. Blindster.com. The Water Boy Whole House Filtration System brings fresh, clean water right to your tap. Call 1-800-WATERBOY now. Clean water for drinking, showering, cooking, laundry, and more. Call 1-800-WATERBOY. That's 1-800-WATERBOY.
Chief Marketing Support. Roger Ramadan, Chief Marketing and Communications Officer, Matt Academy. Talk about this.
Basically, sonic and sonic landing and sonic initiation across the board. The principles of measurement of the space, but the parameters that you measure are different. We know that, and what we find is our investment is paying for itself in schooling. You have this offering with iHeart across multiple platforms, both for brand enhancement as well as for performance marketing. I think the capital of the message and the recall of the brand are much higher. Also, it has been very beneficial for us to integrate some of our campaigns into the native content of our heart. It has been a very nice partnership, and we continue to be responded to the future. As the number one audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. Go to iHeartResults.com for more.
But now, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're committed to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking for things like scarring. In fact, only the best produce and rusty oranges and crisp carrots reach our shelves. Because when it comes to fresh, our higher standards mean fresher produce. Fresh for everyone.
Save on farmer done, bone-in full half ale. Just 169 a pound with your card and get a $25 purchase. Limit 2 for supply last. Well, fresh for everyone. Losing air conditioning on a hot summer day can be a sweaty old nightmare, and no one wants that fast. Help your air conditioner last longer and reduce breakdowns with a rejuvenation.
Well, it's just $129.
Dell Air Conditioning and Plumbing. We'll use CPL.com, which is a cool third-party staff. License number 1047-781. No, we're not going to normalize it. No, there's just a thing young people riding trains bounced over, passed out from the truck. I don't care if they don't care. They don't belong there. It's a quality of life thing. It's pretty simple. And why simple? Maybe it's not that simple. Why can't we pass legislation in California that would require courts to issue warnings to fentanyl dealers that OxyContin, Xanax, fake pills, and pills, and that if they keep selling those drugs, they could eventually be prosecuted for murder. I don't understand why there's a reluctance in our state legislature to do that, but we'll talk about that. So, lawmakers now are pushing back against a lawsuit that would try to ban U.S. Forest Service from using aerial fire retardants without a permit. So Lamalfa has instituted the Forest Protection Wildland Fire Safety Act of 2023, which created an exemption for firefighters so they could continue to use aerial fire retardants. Think of the sweet stuff that comes out of those firefighting airplanes. I mean, we're so used to seeing those images. The county of Butte around Pico and Oroville. Lawmakers held a hearing